Hello and welcome to a special edition of Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames. I'm Justin Taylor at JT Orange, along with Brian Toast Clark at Toast Clark and our buddy John McGlynn at John McGlynn 75. We're doing a live cast here from Toast Porch. We're watching game 2 of the NHL season just getting kicked off here, and the Blackhawks getting ready to kick it into full gear here in just a few minutes. Stick with us here. We're going to be talking all things hockey on Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames. So currently we've got the Boston Bruins taking on the Florida Panthers, a 5-2 score right now. And we had an earlier game with the St. Louis Blues. Toast, why don't you jump in here and tell us kind of where we're at so far to start off today? This there's been a lot of action here in this Panthers Bruins game so far.
Yeah, thanks, JT. And honestly, I've been waiting for this day for months. I really had the idea of maybe podcasting from the back porch here, having a first annual, opening night of hockey here on the back porch for our Fantasy and Frames first year having the hockey podcast. But earlier today, the Blues were actually playing at Seattle at 3:30. And I'll recap that briefly to say that the Blues were nowhere to be found in the first period and a half of that game. They almost, the fact, actually forgot there was even a game to be played, let alone it was actually opening night or opening day anyway. But all of a sudden, Jordan Kyrou actually comes alive. They get 3 goals at the mid to end of the second period in a matter of a minute and a half, and they control that game for the rest of the way. I told you earlier in the day some of my toast takes, the under 6 for that St. Louis Seattle game, and it didn't look too good after that second period. And I remember actually going to your place. We were actually getting ready for this podcast. I said, I don't really know about that. And what you know, they actually held, and it ended up being 3-2. The under ended up going. But that's hockey for you. It was a great start. I think we're going to have a lot of opportunity to actually talk about many things here tonight. A lot of the teams, I really don't. We're going to go off script a little bit tonight, JT. We're going to make it anything we actually want it to be.
Yeah, so we got a lot of action. We're going to talk to you about just, we got a couple guys here from our hockey league, our home league. We're just going to be talking, anything, everything hockey. If you got any questions, jump in the questions and comments as we got a bunch of stuff we're going to be doing. We're going to talk about some of our favorite bets. We've got some live bets coming up. We got our first comment of the night. Our friend Patrick Quinn, PQ, thanks for joining in. Says, how did the Blues not show up there in bad first period, but then they got it together. He said, that's okay. We got it done. So it was a nice move by the Blues. It was a rough start, but hey, they came back and got it done. Thanks, PQ, for checking us out here. Any questions you guys got, feel free to jump in there, fantasy-wise, over-under betting questions, any of that stuff. Feel free to jump in throughout the show and ask us what you got. Before we get crazy, we got 8:35 here Central Time, 9:35 Pacific Time, Toast. You've got a couple of your Toast takes that are out there. Tell us where you're at right now on the Toast takes for the day, and let's get into some of our late night bets here for this very first game ever in Utah. Right now, the Utah hockey team, we're all pulling hard for the Yeti. Please let Yeti be the one that wins. That should be the absolute best, coolest mascot in hockey. So let's hope that wins. But they're playing the Blackhawks tonight. Let's talk about where you're at in the Toast takes, and then let's jump into some of our favorite bets. Anyone who wants to get in on this late night action.
So you can find Toast takes at Toast Clark on the X. Fantasy and Frames will actually repost those as well. I usually tag JT. But I'll do those for the most part daily. There may be some times where I miss a game here or there, no big deal. But for tonight, end up having a touched on all 3 games. Hit the first one, like I said. It was the under 6 goals for the Seattle St. Louis game that actually hit. Pretty awesome. I tell you what, I'm going to do a lot of these this year, JT, with a lot of these the big teams. When I say the big teams, your Colorados, your Floridas, your Edmontons, your Torontos, those type of teams where you go ahead and take their best player, one of their best players to get an assist. You take their team to actually score over 2.5 goals, preferably at home. And you also take them on the money line. You can usually get that bet somewhere around plus 200. So tonight I did that with Florida. Florida over 2.5 goals. So far, so good. I mean, it's 5-2 right now in the third. Florida came out like a ball of fire. They raised the banner tonight. And also Florida on the money line, looking pretty darn good right now. So that's 2 for 2. I need a Matthew Tkachuk assist. Has not actually happened yet. There's a lot of hockey left to be played. We got 15 minutes left in this game. Tkachuk was actually their assist leader last year, him and Barkov, but Kachuk's amazing. I think he had close to 65 assists last year, somewhere around the neighborhood of 25 goals. So for him not to be on an assist so far on a 5-2 game here is pretty rare, but I've actually been telling JT that's kind of how it's going for me right now. And then later on tonight, and I want to talk a bit more about this, JT. Let's not just skim over this, but when we get to the Hawks game here in about a half hour, we should talk more about it. But I'm not betting anything Blackhawks tonight. All right, and hey, I'm representing here. Obviously, I'm a huge Hawks fan, like a lot of listeners here. But Utah's going to come out with a lot of energy. There's going to be a lot of energy in that building. We understand exactly how Utah ends up supporting the Jazz for years. Salt Lake City is going to represent tonight, and so I really like Utah on the puck line. The minus 1.5 probably end up beating the Hawks by more than 2. Again, for the energy factor, and I like Barrett Hayton. Barrett Hayton's their first line, their top line center, top power play as well. He's usually a forgotten guy. For an assist or a point, you can get that for about plus 450. So go ahead and get on that, guys. Liking that. And here's my brother.
Yeah, Gail jumping on here says it's a damn brain trust on the back porch. That's right. Hey, we're facing the weather here. We're in full hockey season mode. We're outside. We're ready to go. We got cold drinks in hand. We're watching the game. This is what we're doing tonight. It's you got to go full bore here. A hockey night. Toast, I trust you. I agree with what you're saying too. Same thing, man. Is we just right now. It's we get don't believe in Hawks game 1. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Hawks, like we love the Hawks. We wanted to play well, but man, that energy first game ever in Utah is gonna be fire. Like it's gonna be tough to take them. I'm gonna throw out my same game parlay tonight on FanDuel. I'm gonna put that one out here right now for everybody. I got the Utah Hockey Club. I'm calling the Yeti. I don't care. They need to be the Yeti, so I'm going to keep calling them the Yeti until they're officially the Yeti. I got them on the puck line, alternate puck line, minus 1.5. I got Barrett Hayton, 2+ shots. Clayton Keller, plus 1 points. And I got Tyler Bertuzzi, the old school Red Wing guy, 2+ shots. You can get that right now at plus 424 on FanDuel. If you add in the boost, there's a 30% boost tonight on this late game. You can get it up to plus 550, and that's where I've got it at right now. Plus 550. That's Utah Yeti. I'm calling the Yeti officially because that's what I want. We got a big fight here. Oh, just broke out here in the Panthers-Bruins game. We had a huge hit right in front of the goal. Now we've got everybody grabbing someone, throwing gloves, throwing helmets, waiting to see what happens here. Well, that was a big hit. I didn't see who it was on exactly, but there was a huge hit right going in on the goal to score, and immediately everyone started dropping gloves in this one.
Yeah, this is not the first time this has happened tonight with this group. I mean, this was happening in the first period. Lots of scuffles, especially when Boston actually got down 2-3-0 as well. There was a lot of stuff there, but interesting that Korpisalo is actually in goal tonight. Definitely would have been Swayman, and we can talk maybe a little bit about that Swayman contract issue here in a bit, where they finally actually got resolved. But while we're actually looking at this, John, I'm going to ask you. We mentioned Yeti. What did you think about those new Yeti uniforms? Or I'm sorry, propose Yeti uniforms because Utah's colors are pretty sweet, man.
So yeah, they're as unofficial uniforms go. Me and JT were going through all the different the schemes, the colors, the different jersey styles, and again, these are all proposed jerseys, but they look so cool. There's some that are, obviously you're not gonna like every jersey that they propose, everything that's out there, but the ones that JT has talked about with the mountains in the background and the Yeti walking or the faces being made, it just adds a different element to hockey that nothing really has that right now. So it's pretty cool to add something like that. Anytime there's a new team come back in any expansion league, you don't want it to be like the Commanders or some other team that nobody that's like, what the hell is this? You want it to be something cool, something original, something nice. And the colors, that people, fans can be, happy to wear. You could wear a hat or, it's a great color scheme. I like them. I like them a lot. I hope they don't change. I hope they do keep the Yeti. Everybody seems happy about that situation. So I love them. I love them a ton. I like them a lot.
Yeah, my biggest thing on the Yeti was like Yeti, the Mammoth. There was a couple other ones still out there. The Utah Hockey Club. When they originally said they were going to go Utah Hockey Club, I was super disappointed. But then the management came out and said, "Hey, we're going this for year one, but this isn't forever." And I was like, okay, I can do it for 1 year if you're going to actually like pick an actual mascot and go from there. So I'm hoping that's what they do. I just think the Yeti, from the designs I've seen, I hope the team is smart enough to jump online and look at some of these, because man, there are some awesome ones out there. Ton of different alternative jerseys, cool looks you can do. I like the light blue and the navy blue personally. But if they wanted to stick with like kind of the purple look, just to go with kind of what they have with the Utah Jazz, I can totally understand that. I'm still fine with that, but I love the Yeti. There's just so many cool things you can do with the Yeti as far as the face, the mountains, everything else. So it probably shouldn't matter this much to me, but it does, because I just hate when teams have terrible names and unis. It drives me insane. And when you get a team right now, it's like, brand new, moving, a perfect opportunity to be a whole new franchise, a whole new thing. I want them to do the best thing they can. So hopefully it ends up being the Yeti. They are the Utah Hockey Club for tonight against the Blackhawks. And we know Blackhawks damn near have the best, they have the best logo in the league. It just is. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I think it's not only a little bit biased here, but I mean, national polls say that time and time again, that the Blackhawks logo is actually not only one of the most recognizable logos in all of sport, but pretty awesome as well. I want to report here that I've been watching the Toast Takes, and Matthew Tkachuk does get his assist. So we're 2 for 2 on Toast Takes tonight.
Boom.
That's a parlay of the day. So we're 2 for 2. And then we're going to go ahead and wait for the Hawks game here. I hope I'm actually wrong on the Hawks game tonight, because again, I bet against the Hawks, and that's really just kind of sacrilegious considering what we actually have going on here, right? With our first annual, right? And I'm actually going against the Hawks. I almost feel like Pat McAfee, where I should actually reach down, or even Lee Corso, put something else on and have everybody boo me. But we have a crowd of 2 here. It's a very large crowd. But maybe I'll go ahead and put in another bet here to go ahead and hedge a little bit for the Hawks. But again, just the Utah energy is going to be in that building. We've seen how Salt Lake City's actually supported the Jazz, and I don't think that's going to be anything short of tonight. And you guys mentioned the jerseys, and we'll put the jerseys away, right? But I love the Jazz's jerseys in the NBA. And I mean, the color scheme, like you said, the mountains, and I mean, they could play off that as well. I think they got something there. You're going to see a lot of apparel actually sold for the Utah Hockey Club. Eventually going to be the Yeti, and they're going to be a lot of energy tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited to what this team could be in Utah. I really am. I think the fans are ready for it. I think Utah is a hockey town, hockey area with the mountains and the snow and and skiing and snowboarding. It feels like a hockey town compared to Arizona. Nothing against Arizona, nothing against Phoenix, but it's 1,000,000 degrees all day, every day. It's nothing but desert. I just think this, if there was going to be a move, I always hate to see a city lose a team, but if there's going to be a move, this is the type of move I want to see. I want to see it feel like it's an upgrade. feel like it's a spot that can be where a team could really, end up saying down roots and being a really good team overall. So I love that there. Toast, for anyone who misses just joining us, tell us your I'm going to give you my take for the late game here in case you're wanting to get a bet in before this Utah Chicago Blackhawks game gets in. I'm going to iterate my bet that I want you to tell you, because you're on fire right now on Toast Takes. I want you to get your bet in next. So right now I've got Utah Hockey Club -1.5 on the alternate puck line. I got Barrett Hayton 2+ shots, Clayton Keller +1 point, and I got Tyler Bertuzzi 2+ shots. It's a +424 on FanDuel right now. You get a 30% profit boost. You can get it up to +550. So that's my bet for tonight. Toast, what do you got tonight on your Toast Takes?
Yeah, the last Toast Takes I actually have is Utah -1.5. Parlayed with Barrett Hayton with an anytime assist. You can get that boosted on DraftKings for +450. I was saying Hayton's a forgotten man in Utah now, formerly Arizona. Top line center, top power play as well. Distributor. He's often injured. This year he's actually coming in healthy right now. We'll actually see if that actually lasts. But that is my play. But I also will say this is, if you're going to go ahead and go the Hawks, all right, we're going to have to, I need right now a Philip Kurashev goal. And here's the reason why. I put in a lotto pick tonight, a lotto ticket. I had Eloy Tolvanen for Seattle to score a goal. That actually happened earlier in the game at the 3:30 game. Then I had a Charlie McAvoy goal. And John, that's your guy in our Dynasty League. And I'm like, hey, if McAvoy could actually get a goal here tonight, because I liked it. It was like +800. He gets a goal. And if we can actually go ahead and finish it off with a Philip Kurashev goal tonight for the Hawks, that'll be a $1.50 bet tonight that I just go ahead and put in a lotto ticket to pay out $451. Hey, anybody watching out there, we're all Philip Kurashev fans. We're Hawks fans. But let's see if Kurashev can end up getting a goal. Kurashev had great chemistry last year with Bedard. And it's interesting the fact we're actually splitting them up this year. But Kurashev's going to be on that second line. He's going to be with Hall. He's going to be a Bertuzzi as well. Bedard's actually on that first line. And he's going to be with Ilya Mikheyev, the newcomer, and Teuvo Teravainen, a guy that actually comes back after being a cup winner in 2015 as a rookie and having a great career over in Carolina. Comes back. He's on a 3-year deal, $5.4 million per. I'm really excited where the Hawks are actually going. And I don't know if we're supposed to be doing a Hawks transition here, but that's what I'm actually doing. I don't care. And we'll talk about that eventually. But anyway.
So we just got word from our other co-host, Aaron Tometich, unable to join us tonight. He was hoping to be here, unable to do it, had some family obligations. Jumping in here, giving his bet of the night. So let's talk about this one from old Titch 41. Bedard over 2.5 shots. Bedard over 0.5 point. Same game parlay on DK right now. DraftKings opening night boost. You can get it to +153. That's kind of nice. I like that. I was looking at Bedard shots. That was definitely one I was considering. So over 2.5, over a point for Bedard. So you need 3 shots and a point for Bedard, +153 on the boost on the boost on DraftKings for opening night. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that one. I like that one a lot as well. And our boy Mike says Tish knows what's up. He's like, that's the bet. He's like, that's a good one. I like it too. I think that's a solid bet. I'm hoping for a real good year here out of Connor Bedard. A couple minutes away from that game getting going. We got Florida up 6-2 right now. The defending champs coming out ready to play tonight. They are rolling. Toast, I know we talked about this in kind of the preseason leading up the year. We were all kind of out on Boston this year. We're just like, I just don't know if they're going to be the same Boston. Right now, if you jumped on the under point total for Boston like we did earlier in the year, I kind of like that bet, and I like it even more now. This Boston team is not the Boston team we remember setting the record a couple years ago for points in a regular season. This is just not the same team. I'm feeling better about the under in this bet. I know it's only half a game. We're not even through one whole game yet, but man, this Boston team does not look like it has the juice it had in the past.
Yeah, they don't have the juice they had in the past. So their top line of Zaka, Lindholm, Pasternak, it's good, but that's not nearly as good as actually the past Boston teams have been for first line as well. And then you got Marchand on the second line, Charlie Coyle, and then young Morgan Geeky, who Jeff back here right behind us. He's going to come on the pod here in a bit and hang out. He's actually got him on our Dynasty League, but after that, man, it falls off. M. Jones, I don't know who he is. He's number 49. Have no idea who he is. Trent Frederick, I know he is a goon. All right. I actually watched Goon earlier today to get ready for this podcast, man. It never gets old. I watched Miracle at the same time. It was on this TV, on that TV. I was pretty excited for today. But they just don't have that, I guess, that depth from 1 through 4 like they've actually had in the past. With Lindholm and McAvoy, they're pretty good actually up front with that first pairing. But after that, not so great. Jeremy Swayman, we know who he is, man. He just signed the deal, 8 years, $8.25 million for 8 seasons. He's actually there. We can talk about that contract or not. Who cares? Nevertheless, it was a weird contract negotiation. But they are not the team they used to be at all. So, JT, why don't you go ahead and tell us, and then John, we'll get you in here as well, what the over-under was for points. And if you can't pull it up, I remember, okay? So for Boston, it was 99.5, if I remember right. 99.5 points. They think they're going to get 100 points. This team, playoffs, they may go playoffs, but they're not getting 100 points. Okay, they've lost too much. But check and see. I may be getting them actually mixed up with Vegas because Vegas is something ridiculous as well for the points. But I'm not big on Boston this year. If Boston can actually make the playoffs, it wouldn't shock me at all.
No, I think you're right on. I'm looking it up right now, but I'm pretty sure that's what we were at. It was right around 98, 99. And we were just like, all of us were looking at each other like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if those team points make sense at all. So we were kind of out on that. I definitely think they do the under. FanDuel has taken down their team over under points for the year. So those are down right now because of the season starting. If you did not get on those, sorry about that, but that would have been fantastic. John, let's bring you in here. This is our buddy John McGlynn. He does the Dynasty Evaluation podcast on Fantasy and Frames. I'm lucky enough to let him jump in there and help him out on the show. We get to talk. We'll have another show tomorrow. Go back and listen to our first half of kind of talking about the first 5 games of the NFL season, kind of where we're at on everything. We're doing a team-by-team breakdown. We did the first half of the league this morning. We'll do the second half of the league tomorrow. You can go back and rewatch that on YouTube, on Fantasy and Frames, or on podcast form, wherever you listen to podcasts. Johnny, you just joined our league last year for the first time, jumped in. We did a keeper league, kind of got you back in the mix. You're a huge hockey fan. You haven't played a ton of fantasy hockey, but you love hockey in general. You got in the league. We did the draft this year for the Dynasty. Kind of tell us how you got into hockey and what made you love this sport.
For all of us who remember, like being Blackhawks fans, when I grew up, you couldn't watch the home games on TV. They were blacked out. You couldn't even watch the Blackhawks games. What a terrible idea for ownership. And then, the old man, it wasn't, when he passed away, the new blood came in and said, hey, we're not going to get fans unless they can see our product. So they started putting the games on Sports Vision, and then you get to watch all the Blackhawks games. And then, in the early 90s, when they went to the Stanley Cup and got swept by Pittsburgh, it was it was a lot of people, the city kind of like, yes, this is great. There's rejuvenation of a hockey team in the city. I would go to a ton of games, and then they took kind of a crap where I'd be at the bar called Mitchell's in Bridgeport, And the Zamboni driver would walk with an envelope full of tickets and say, nobody's going to the game tonight. You guys can go if you want to. We used to walk in the game for free with just giving the tickets away. It was that kind of thing. So I went to tons of Blackhawks games. Being in the old stadium was absolutely wonderful. The acoustics in that place was great. The beer, I mean, it was a madhouse. Madhouse so much for like the garbage cans on the outside between the stadiums would be filled with piss because people didn't walk to the bathroom, just pee in the garbage cans. It was absolutely wonderful, like how that stadium was before. The fights, everything going on. It was just an absolute wonderful situation. So I always liked hockey. I had a couple friends. Tommy Roger played. His brother Mike Roger played for the Rockford Ice Hogs. He played for Syracuse Orange. He went overseas and played for teams. The Nipper Cranes that won the Chinese League. He played in Ireland. He played a bunch of places. Just had his whole career with the NHL. He has his own company now that teaches kids how to skate and play hockey at youth level. But watching him play for St. Rita, he was at the University of Illinois. He played at U of I. He was like all-time. I think he was all-time leading scorer in U of I history at one point in time for goals scored. That was Tommy Raja. But I mean, just having that part of my life for going to see my friends play at Southwest Ice Arena for St. Rita High School was absolutely fantastic. It carried into being, loving the game of hockey itself. There's no better sport in the world that's better than hockey in the playoffs. I mean, I like NFL. I love the NFL. I grew up playing, watching with my dad, coaching my kids, watching them play, watching it with them. But there's nothing better than playoff hockey. I think everybody who has watched hockey before kind of knows that situation. Hockey is absolutely wonderful. It's the most skilled of all the sports. And I'll tell you what, for all the people who are in like fantasy football and fantasy baseball, when these are over with, hockey is such a great buffer after those seasons to kind of just like, all right, I got 23. Not every sicko has 23 lineups to set in fantasy football like I do, but JT's got like 50 something. But what you do is, it's such a like, all right, I'm done. The rat race is over. All my leagues are over. I can just set one lineup. And the fantasy hockey is so fun because a lot of times you don't even fill your lineup. There's some games where you have two people playing. Sometimes there's, you have, for our rosters, you'd fill up our entire lineup. And there's some the busy nights in hockey would have where you set your lineup and you got a couple extra people on the bench sometimes, but it's kind of a rarity. It's a game of the waiver wire. You only get, you get set up for 2, 5, 7, 9 or unlimited waivers all the time, but it's a game of the waiver wire. It's a great just switching guys around. That was my experience because I only played redraft before. Redraft hockey is absolutely awesome because you can just drop guys all the time, pick them up again. It was, it's so fun. I got into Dynasty this year with you guys, and I'm kind of intimidated because I'm not really sure what the hell's going on because I haven't played hockey in like 7 years. So I like watching them, but I didn't memorize these guys. And it's different in hockey because you can watch football. You can watch these kids, local kids in high school, go to certain colleges, or watch NCAA. Everybody watches college hot football. We're in campus camp leagues for college football. It is so cool to see these guys develop and go through the system and make it to the NFL and root for them. Then half these guys in hockey come from overseas. You don't even know who they are until they get drafted on draft night, and it's like, all right, Yipperhoff or whoever it is, on this team. Like, all right, we'll root for this guy. You hear some rumblings about these guys coming through who might be in the draft, or you see the reports of what the draft's going to look like. But hockey's such a different game. It's going to take me a while to get back and know who the people are. I'm going to have to see the stats. So there's a way to go on Fantrax where hockey's played and go see the previous year stats and see how they did before, who to draft. We play in what's called a bangers league here, which I didn't even give points for. I mean, there was hits and things, but we had a lot of like different stats where goalies were kind of like quarterbacks and stuff. And, that your centers got a lot of like for assists and, defensive players got tons of hits. You even got for penalty minutes and time on ice and stuff. Every league is different. There's no wrong league to set up anything. Utah's coming out right now with their jerseys. They're coming through against the Blackhawks right now on TV if you're watching the game. Those are generic jerseys for this year until the next year's jerseys come out, but that's fine. But there's being in Chicago, and I was in a game at Tampa Bay. I saw a Lightning game last year when we were in Tampa Bay for my daughter's lacrosse. I've been into St. Louis. It's so weird going to a different stadium and the national anthem is quiet. It is the weirdest thing in the world because when you want to, I've probably been to 100 Blackhawks games, if not more. And just from day one, the first time I came in or listened to Remember the Roar, all this stuff, how good that Chicago Stadium was and how good the United Center is now for all that stuff. I remember when they tore down the old stadium and the new stadium was going in there and national anthem started and I stood up and there was 2 hot chicks behind me. I was like, all right, cool. I stood up the national anthem and my pocket got caught in a cup holder. My whole jeans ripped open. And I was like, shit. I had to stand there and hold. So these girls didn't see my underwear the whole game. I had to stand there and hold my jeans shut and drink a beer. It was a terrible experience. The seats are a little bit smaller than the old stadium, but it was such a good time. Just being that stadium is still cool now. The acoustics are great. Everything's set up. It's a lot of people don't like that stadium. I like the Chicago Stadium. This is just as good. I mean, you can hear everything fine. It's set up. Having a national anthem and the crowd getting in there. For a while, it was kind of a different story where the seats got so expensive. You couldn't make it. You couldn't go to playoffs. I've been to a couple NHL playoff games. I've been lucky. I'm lucky to have a friend who had a connection to get tickets to a handful of Stanley Cup games. I was at the Flyers game. I was at I didn't get to go to any of the actual Stanley Cup games themselves, but every game in the playoffs we had pretty good seats for. A lot of skybox games there. A lot of good times at that stadium. The food's great. The beer's great. The new setup now, even the standing room only. Am I taking over the show?
No.
All right.
You're doing great.
So we used to do is we used to get a bus, like a 12-man van. We used to get like a 12-man van, and my buddy had a valet company. We'd pay for his ticket. We'd rent the van for like $45 from Enterprise. We'd get a valet to drive us down, and we get a couple cases of beer, go down to the stadium, and it was $8 for standing room only seats back in the day. Now we went to try and get standing room only. They will not even sell you standing room only until it's sold out. And on top of that, it's $65 for the SROs. That just to stand there for the game. And now there's they made it nice where there's bars all over the place on the SRO level still, so it's okay. But it just kind of sucks that they make you buy a seat. And if you're there with a bunch of people, they'll sell you individual seats if that's what it is. It's kind of BS, man. They won't give you SRO if there's not like 5 in a row with your buddies or 10 in a row, whatever you got going. It's kind of a shit show as far as that goes. But it's still a great experience there. I love going to. You can't have a bad time bringing your kids there. They got Tommy Hawk, doing stuff. They got, there's a DJ between each of the periods. It's such a great time at that stadium. There's nothing better than listening to, the national anthem, the crowd's roaring, and the beer's going on, and just what a great experience it is. If you've never been to a Blackhawks game, the tickets haven't gone up this year. I don't think they went up this year, but I mean they're still kind of expensive. But if you go under once a year, you can get it standing room only $40, 50. I think it's 48 or 52 or something like that. I forgot what it was, but you can bring your kids there, and just kind of sneak into seats after you buy the standing room, like everybody else does. And then you can see the game was pretty good. But JT was talking about before he was going to get glass seats before. I sat in almost every seat in those stadiums. I snuck down when the thing was when it was bad, when the teams are bad. You can go down on the ice or against the glass. And if you've never been to a stadium before, we were talking about this. Don't ever sit against the glass. It's not like football where if you go to like a stadium and sit on a 50-yard line, 20 seats up, it's the best seats in the world. Hockey, if you're against the glass, you want to be in a corner so you can see all the way down to the right and to the left. You don't, because if you're sitting against the face of the glass with the whole rink, to the north and south of you, you can't see down either way. So there's good and bad seats in hockey. It's almost like auto racing. The higher up you are, the better you are in hockey. And hockey, another thing about the NHL is football. I do not go to football games. Football is way better at home with the red zone, drink a beer in the garage with your buddies, having a great time. Baseball, you have to go to the game. There's no experience like walking to a White Sox game, going up and down the ramp, walking in and smelling the onions, the grilled onions, that awesome, the sound of the crowd, the peanuts in your hand, the beers. Hockey, you can watch it on TV. You could be at the game. You can listen on the radio. It is absolutely fantastic experience, man. So I feel like I'm rambling here, but you guys, I love hockey. It is the best thing in the world. It's probably, I want to go as far as saying it's my favorite sport just because it's every day of the week. And it's not, if you ever did fantasy football, everybody's like, oh, you got to set your lineup Thursday and waivers are on Wednesday. And hockey, it's 7 days a week. But you can set your lineup like for the entire week one day, kind of walk away. The one thing you have to watch out for is when the goalies are starting, who's starting in net, because they change that sometimes, like 2 hours before the game, they'll tell you who the goalie is. It's not always like, couple days in advance, you're going to know who it is. You can't set your goalie lineup all the time. They usually know, but you got to watch out for that all the time. That's the one kind of you got to stay on top of it. But for the most part, you can kind of pencil in all the starters on your team all the time. Dynasty's a little intimidating for me now, but I'm super happy you guys have me aboard on this thing, man. I can't wait to get back into hockey again. My first year in like 6 years, I think it is, that I'm back in fantasy hockey, and I can't wait to get to know all these players again. Learn the scoring that this Bangers League scoring, which I'll figure it out. I remember just drafting and be like, all right, who's going to hit the most, or who's the biggest badasses in this league? Who can I draft? I got him now. I did what I did. I'm up right now. This is my first week, my first game. Let's see the score here. I am actually up 36-35. Here we go. After 3 games, I'm up by 1 point. But I got this whole thing, man. So here we go. But you guys, thanks for having me on tonight. Thanks for having me in the league, and I really appreciate it.
Mike jumped on here and says John's fired up. Let's have a go. I was like, yeah, let's go, baby. I agree with John, man. Like, there's nothing like live hockey. It's just live hockey is just totally different. The crowd, everybody that goes to hockey games loves hockey. You know what I mean? It's like you can feel it in the crowd. It's awesome. It's my favorite sport to go to live. I've got season tickets for NFL, and I love going to games. But like John said, sometimes it's better to watch the game at home. But man, hockey games are just absolutely the best. Love going to live. You have never been to a live hockey game. You gotta make yourself, gotta get it out there. I know we've talked about my cousin Kirk lives in Columbus. We've talked about trying to get a Blackhawks Blues game this year if we can. Would love to get a game out there. I know we've got the Red Wings and the Blue Jackets are playing outdoors at Ohio Stadium this year, which would be a pretty awesome game to go to. I know, Toast, we looked at the Wrigley game and the tickets were insanely expensive. We talked about it. We're like, we could go to a lot of other stuff for that amount of money. So we're like, I think we're going to skip that one this year, even though that would be absolutely awesome to go to. We got Titch. I got a question for you. It says, what do you guys think of the camera angles? Can you see more of the ice? I feel like I can see the goal. I can't see the goal line scrums, but I can see play develop. I'm torn. A little bit different camera angles this year. I think they're trying out some new stuff, especially early on in the season. We've been watching a little bit of the games. I've liked it so far, but I agree with you. You can't see everything kind of down low near the goal line quite as well, but I think it's easier to follow the puck so far, I've noticed, as far on some of these plays. What do you think, Toast?
I will say I have not actually watched much of the game. I've actually watched it in spurts. I like when my parlays actually hit, and they've actually hit tonight. All right. So, but no, like all seriousness, yes, I agree with JT. They're maybe going to experiment earlier in the season, especially with ESPN. And ESPN actually has all the games. So I have ESPN Plus, and I can watch all the games except the Hawks, which, John, we have no idea where the Hawks are actually going to be on TV. I don't think they've even settled the deal with Comcast locally in Chicago yet. Here we are, opening night. They don't have to worry about it now because they're on ESPN. And I believe their next game is on ESPN. But this weekend, they're literally going to come down to the end. And we're going to, because right now, Comcast Sports Chicago is gone. It's now Chicago Sports. I don't know what it is. I want to say it's like, hey, remember, was it a sports? Comcast Sportsnet, but also too, it was back in the day. It was
NBC, I know it was NBC something.
Yeah, it was Sports Action or something. I don't know. Here we go. So we got another goal by Boston. It's 6-4 now. Again, this is only for stat purposes. I asked Jeff earlier, I'm like, where's Pasternak been all night long? Well, Pasta actually scores a goal. Pasta will score you 50 goals a season. Yeah. You know what?
Right off the skate. He hits off the skate. Not even ready, as it doesn't look like he was taking a shot, but hits off the skate and goes in, killing my Bob points as I've got Bob and going.
Well, and you saw that, JT. Actually, so Pasta actually decided he acted like he was going to go ahead and pass the puck to the center ice, and he didn't. You know what I mean? So, and here comes the empty net with a minute 45, as they should. This will probably end up being a 7-4 to win. What's going to actually end up happening? But I mean, what a crazy game to start off the NHL season. The first one I knew would be low scoring because the Blues and Seattle, they both play between the blue lines. They don't shoot the puck. Both teams, if you look at them last year, they were both in the bottom third of actually shooting. You know, so they just it's a slow game. And these teams are quite the opposite. And Florida's they got everything. They got everything you'd actually want, man. They got great defense. They have forwards that actually play both ends of the ice. They're just a complete team. And Boston we talked about Boston, right? They're aging. They're not as nearly as deep, but nevertheless, Boston, they're probably still a fringe playoff team, but they're not a 100-point team, right? So Oh yeah, let's maybe, hey JT, can we maybe watch the last 48 seconds here with this pod here and just let's commentate here and see what's going on.
Yeah, so right now we got the Bruins working the puck around the top, trying to get a one-timer there, hit off the left side, blocked. Florida now got it out of the zone. They're looking like a chance at a empty netter. And no, we got it blocked. So we still got 26 seconds left. Bruins have the puck back. They're going to see if they can get one more shot out of here in the zone. They get it in the zone. Florida runs it down, though, trying to get it out. Bruins hold it in. They hold it in, so they've got a shot here. Shot on goal, saved by Bob. Bobrovsky able to get the save, and we're going to get a face-off with 10.5 seconds left. Florida up 6-4.
What do you want to if we end up having a wager here now? Would you say it's probably minus 110 or plus 120? There's a brawl here in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and just pretend that's what's going on here. Let's pretend I actually put a plus 120 and there's going to be a brawl.
You know what? The other thing I want to say while we're here, like waiting for this, this is the first stoppage in a long time in hockey. If you're used to basketball or you're used to football or used to, there's right now there would be 100 timeouts and free throws, and the game would take 45 minutes to the last 15 seconds of a game. As soon as they drop the puck right now, the game's going to be over. They're going to skate around a while, minus a fight, minus something else going on. But these teams have bad blood. 2 years ago, when Boston was they led the league, they set the record for most wins ever, and Florida swept them in the first round of playoffs. It was absolutely wonderful what happened. So there's a little bit of bad blood here. Oh, he just missed a shot. Oh, so to win, but it's 6-4 victory. But games like this are absolutely fantastic because there's a lot of bad blood here, especially to open a season like this. Raising the banner in somebody's face when they were you defeated them a couple last year. But go ahead, you guys talk about the win.
Yeah, Florida gets this game done 6-4. They are 11-0-2 in their last 13 home games to start the season, opening night home games. So this team has been on fire. Bob killing me fantasy-wise, giving up a couple late goals, but gets the win. So love that out of him. We got a comment here from our guy Luke Severn, says 2025 Stanley Cup final tickets giveaway coming soon. Trent, if you know anyone, or Luke, if you know anyone that wants to give us some Stanley Cup tickets that we can give away on the show, we'd love to do it. We'd absolutely love to do that. Currently, we don't have any. We'll see if we can get some sponsors to come and come through with some Stanley Cup Finals tickets for us. That would be phenomenal. So that's the end of that one. Panthers get it done, and now we are on to the Blackhawks and the Utah Hockey Club that we're going to just keep saying the Yeti until they make it happen.
JT, let's as a transition here, let's talk a little bit about the Blackhawks. We got a game coming up here to start the season. The Hawks are much improved. It couldn't get much worse. By design, these Blackhawks were trying to actually lose games. They were. They would actually admit that. Kyle Davidson actually coming in, taking on as a GM a couple years ago. He's really done a great job. Actually, really putting this franchise in the best position possible with the cap, and also with young talent coming through the pipeline. Mixed in with some veterans who actually have a winning mentality. So I'm pretty excited about the Blackhawks and what's actually going to be coming up here in the future. But you already asked McGlenn kind of how he got into hockey. And I kind of want to talk about how I kind of got into hockey. So
yeah, Toast, let us know here. Give us a little story time here with Toast.
Yeah. So hey, Gail, I hope you're actually listening. I'm here. If you're not, it's fine. It's okay. We're gonna do the Illinois Purdue game this weekend. Dirk Hamlin, our buddy, we're gonna go. Dirk played for Purdue, and I can't wait to get together with all those guys. But John actually mentioned a 1992 Hawks finals team that actually went and got swept by the Penguins 4-0 in '92 series there, and that's when I really got into hockey. I was 15 years old, and Eddie Belfour, man, he was my favorite player. Eddie Eagle, he was so intense for a goalie. I just love that guy. I'm sure there's documentaries out there, or even at least fan made documentaries out there about Eddie Eagle. Man, it's a crazy guy. He ended up playing for Minnesota, I believe, the Stars, Toronto, but he's a Hawk. You always remember his mask, the way he ended up wearing that, man, with the eagle on there. It was just absolutely amazing. You had guys like defenseman Steve Smith. You had Michel Goulet. Dirk Graham was the captain on that team. I remember, and Chris Chelios, one of the best captains. And I end up going to Chelios's jersey retirement this year. I will say that was one of the best sporting experiences of my entire life. Amazing. We snuck down to 100. I was actually 10, 11 rows up, mid ice. It was awesome. It was awesome. Roenick, before he ended up going over to the Flyers, that was a great team, and they were young as well. They were young. I believe the next year they ended up coming out. They made it to a conference final, so I remember right. But they had a little bit of a run there, and John had mentioned after that, kind of all hell broke loose, where they weren't on TV. Bill Wirtz, just a bad businessman. And then Rocky, when he took over the team, that's his first thing is I'm gonna get these guys back on TV. But that's how I got into hockey. Also too, playing NHL 95 with my brother, NHL 97 with my brother. We'd actually go out, have a good time, come back home. You could create your own players. I end up being the Colorado Avalanche after they end up coming over from Quebec, being a Nordiques, and Joe Sakic, and I'd end up creating my own player. But that was the first best hockey game minus Blades of Steel. That was amazing, and so that really got me into hockey. And I took a little bit of a hiatus, I would say, from probably 20, I guess 2001 all the way to maybe 2007, 2008. And what happened then? The Hawks ended up having back-to-back number one picks. I don't know if, I'm sorry, it wasn't number one picks, but nevertheless, draft picks anyway, Taves and Kane. And when they ended up doing that, they ended up getting Hossa as a free agent signee from your Wings. And they end up signing Duncan Keith to a 13-year, $69 million contract, which that can't happen anymore. The Hawks were on their way, man. And a Seabrook and a Sharp, they were set, and a dynasty actually happening. And when in 2009 came, I was hooked. And when I was actually hooked then, I never ended up not being hooked. And that's why I got into fantasy hockey. And since then, it's been gangbusters.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I got into hockey because my mom's family was all from Detroit, and so they were all Red Wings fans. And everyone I knew growing up around here in Central Illinois were not hockey fans because the Blackhawks weren't very good back then. And there just wasn't a lot of people into hockey. So it was one of those things where, my family from Michigan area loved the Red Wings. So I got into Stevie Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov and all those guys really, and Nicholas Lindstrom. They're the guys I first really liked. And those NHL games on Sega Genesis just turned it for me. I started playing those games so fast. You could cut through, you could check guys. It was like playing a football game like at super speed. Everybody was playing so fast you could check guys and hit guys as goal. I just love those games. You can knock them out, hurt them, blood comes out of the head. You could get in fights. It was the best. I remember Blades of Steel, but then when you actually took it up a notch to the actual NHL games with the real players and the real teams. That one got me stuck. I loved hockey ever since then. It was something that I didn't grow up with, like many people I know liking hockey and knowing much about hockey. So it was like I kind of came across it randomly with video games, and then having some relatives were like, "Oh yeah, I like hockey. I like the Wings," and me kind of get into them that way. But it's always crazy how different people come around to hockey, especially if you're not from like a hockey area. You're not from the north or the northeast where there's a lot of hockey, where we grew up in an area where there wasn't hockey teams to play on as kids. There wasn't hockey. I remember saying something to my mom. about playing hockey. And she's like, what are you talking about? There's no hockey teams around here. We're in Central Illinois. I was like, oh, and there wasn't anywhere to play. And I was like, oh, I can't play in a hockey team. So, I think there's always room to grow the game and always get people to, find people that, maybe didn't grow up with it, but end up loving it. And everyone I've ever got into hockey, had them go to a game, had them watch stuff, they just get into it and they're like, oh, this is awesome. And it is. Hockey's so much fun. And it's such a good sport. Like, it's hard right now because you're right in the beginning of football. But man, once football season kind of gets the end, man, that hockey, it's so great to go right into hockey and take off. And like John said earlier, there's nothing like playoff hockey. Playoff hockey is the wildest stuff there is. And here we go. We're coming up. Toast, take over here as we're going to do ready for the first puck drop here in Utah.
Yes. And while we're actually watching the first puck drop, and okay, I'm gonna say it right now. They need to become the Yeti. I get it. This whole Utah on the jersey, it's pretty ugly. The colors are amazing. The jerseys are ugly. But once they become the Yeti or anything else, that'll be awesome. We're actually dropping a puck here. Bedard actually taking a face off. But what I'm going to say about hockey is I've said this a million times, and I have friends listening on a podcast there, hopefully anyway, and I've said it a million times. Hockey is the ultimate team sport. 1 through 4, everybody's got a role. Every 23 guys on an active roster are going to matter. And you can't say that about many sports. Can't say that about basketball, or basketball, they're pretty much taking off 75% of the plays. Football, you have a 65-man roster, I think. I don't know, 62, 65, whatever it may be. Yeah, somewhere around there. Not everybody's going to actually play. Hockey, everybody's playing. And everybody's going to actually matter, and ends up being where most times are not, especially in a tough series, the fourth line, your check line. Somebody's going to have 13, 14 minutes of time on ice. They're going to make the difference in a game. You can't say that about many sports. So for me, that's what makes hockey so special, and why I'm actually a huge fan.
Yeah, Aaron Thomas just jumping on here, says best rivalry, NHL, late 90s, early 2000s, Detroit, Colorado. That was a killer rivalry. Red Wings versus the Avalanche. Big Tall. Mike has decided that he is now calling the Utah, instead of calling the Yeti, he's calling them the Talls, the Utahs. I don't know why. Utahs, he's a bunch of tall hockey players with a logo. He says Lori in a Utah jersey, puke. We're going back to NBA here. I think he's meaning Lori Morgan in there. But yeah, that one's not great. Tometich says hockey best live sport, football best TV sport. I agree, absolutely with that. I think 100%. Mike also booed me with my Red Wings, and I'll take it. You can totally boo me, Mike. I understand. No hard feelings for me on that one. And then Toast this one. Aaron Tometich says Roenick for Samsonov, all-time worst trade in sports. I'll never forgive you, Bill Wirtz. I agree. That one's tough. And then how did Toast? How did you play in NHL 19 against Mike? Mike Sutherland is talking smack to you here.
Mike, if I remember right, the first game we ever played, it was at your place, and I smoked you. All right. So it was a high-scoring game. I did a lot of passing and a lot of one-timers, and I think I ended up winning 7-6. But I don't know. I win a lot in that game, so I really can't remember. But Mike, you're one of the Mike is a video game machine, and we've actually got into Gran Turismo quite a bit, and we've been playing that, and he's got the entire setup. It's one of the best video games I think I've ever played in my life. So, and Mike's pretty awesome at it.
So when you guys talk about the video games, everybody grew up playing the Sega where you get a breakaway and you go left and right, and the goalie would go with the puck, and it's a timing situation where you would just go back and forth, and the goalie would be completely on the opposite side of the net when you got up there, just punch it in. And then you get NHL on the NES system where you get to pick the three guys. You get a skinny guy, a medium guy, and a fat guy, and the fat guy would just destroy the skinny dude every time you go. That game on the Nintendo Entertainment System was absolutely awesome too. And then when the evolution of when hockey got better, it almost got a little bit too hard to play because you couldn't cheat anymore. It was like, remember in Madden 90, the first Madden that came out, it was you could take a player just do the spin move all the way down the field. You have 100 defensive players going on. You couldn't get tackled. You score from a 90-yard touchdown that way. But every hockey video game had some kind of a cheat code, but then when they stopped the cheat codes, it was kind of like, I can't win this easy anymore, I guess. And I had to play as my little brother. He had real bad allergies. He couldn't go out in the summertime, and I was grounded all the time because I was a jack-off kid. So my mom made me sit in the room and play fucking video games with my brother all the time just to keep him company. And I was like, this is bullshit. But it ended up being cool, as far as we kept stats and everything like that. It ended up being, as much as I hated it at the time, it was actually pretty cool. Now you look back on it, but it was such a good thing. And our hockey experience too. We were in high school at a place called Southwest Ice Arena. It was the only hockey rink kind of around our area. And you go there in high school, and there was a bar in the area where you saw glass at. So the people at the bar, you give the old people, $10 to get you a run. I think it's 3 or 4 beers for your buddy. You drink beer when you're 17 years old watching your high school hockey. So we versus Brother Rice. And Eddie Olczyk played for Brother Rice back in the day. So it's cool to see, the old guys, the Faders. Mount Carmel had Chris Chelios. There was a lot of good players in the Chicagoland hockey, in Chicago hockey in high school. But we'll get back to the game here. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, excuse me. Mike said the wraparound in '94 Sega was unstoppable, which is true. That was phenomenal. The wraparound back there, and then I did not know this. Mike says you can go classic controls on the new Madden goal. Oh, we've got ourselves our first goal of the year here in the Utah Blackhawks game. Utah first goal in team history. They're on the board with 15:04 to play in the first quarter. 1-0. Utah hockey team. We got to wait to see who punched that in and who got the assist there. I did not see it. Looks like Gunther got the goal. Really nice here. So take it down the ice on the right side, pass it back towards the middle, and then just a nice shot. Gunther off the pass, just hammered it home on the left side, able to beat the goalie. 1-0. Utah on top of the Blackhawks to get this thing going.
That was a perfect shot because as soon as there was somebody screened the goalie real fast, just in that one split second of the goalie being screened, the shot was taken, and as soon as he appeared on the other side, the puck went right over the goalie's shoulder. It was a perfect shot. Great timing on there. But this is now the Hawks got the puck in their own zone now. Just got to make it like in a line change here. Passing up. We got it behind the goalie now. And we're tied up behind the nets. Okay.
Yeah, so Wings was still working it here, trying to get back in. Things down 1-0. You knew Utah was going to come. Oh, tough shot in front for the Blackhawks. Just missed it wide. Nice look. They're still keeping the puck in the zone. Got some left side trying to kick it in front and get a deflection. That one goes wide. Blackhawks still controlling the puck in the zone here as they're trying to work it around. So far, 2-1 Utah. 1-0 Utah leading the Blackhawks. Working the puck behind the net now in front. Half shot almost got a deflection just wide yet again. So the Blackhawks keeping the pressure on here up front. Moving the puck around. Nice set of offense here for the Blackhawks. Sliding across ice to the right side. Puck, and that one gets down and finally able to be covered by the goalie, and it will get ourselves a face-off. But nice return there for the Blackhawks. Came in. They're fighting in this one as they did last year a lot. Not a good record, but a young team fighting. I think if you're a Blackhawks fan, John, isn't that all you want to see this year? You know this team is not going to win a lot of games. They don't have a ton of talent. They're really young. You want to see the young guys progress, and you want to see this team just fight and be in games, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. That's all you can ask for in any team that's kind of in a rebuild mode is just to go out and have your young players, your young prospects kind of do their thing and, and contribute their part. That's all you can ask for. Chew up some time on the ice, make the necessary shots, make the necessary hits. Buy in with the program, buy in with the coach is trying to coach, buy in with the team. There's a lot of talent on the Blackhawks, but it's young, it's a little bit unexperienced. It's going to take some time to mesh. It's not like some other sports where things just it's not like baseball where you could just kind of throw a team together and things will happen. Hockey's got so much touch. You got to be in the right spot at the right time. The timing of everything is so important. So I agree with you 100% there, JT. It's you just want to see this team progress, and that's right now. They gave up a goal. It's not the end of the world. It was nice to see the first goal get out of the way in Utah. It's a ceremonial moment for the Utahs. So until they change their name, I guess. But it's something that was nice to see. It was something that happened. But the Blackhawks are a team that are going to have to make great draft picks for the next couple of years. Some good free agent moves. They're going to have to do a lot of things to get themselves in a position to win with a young team like this. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with. We don't understand we're in a rebuild. You don't expect anything. If you go above and beyond, if you go a little bit, before you don't achieve as much as you expected. We're all just kind of hoping for a good season. Just see some improvements, kind of like the Bears are right now. You want to see some. You want to see guys draft. You want to see this team draft some players that's going to make a difference. A little bit, a couple minutes at a time. Good. Find out your line combinations. Who's on the penalty kill line? Who's on the second? Who's on the second power play line? Who's on all these lines? How do you fill these spots? There's a lot of spots to fill in a hockey team too. Even though there's not as many players on a football team, there's a lot of spots on a hockey team. There's special teams. There's a regular lines. There's the scoring lines. Penalty kill lines. There's plenty of places for people to contribute. So depth is really important in a hockey team too. So I'm excited to see this, JT. Absolutely.
So still 1-0 here for Utah over the Blackhawks. 12:54 to go here in the first period. Looks like it just absolute rabid crowd here in Utah. Hopefully that stays. Here's my thing is we might not like certain teams, but what we want is crowds showing up to hockey games. We want stadiums to be full. We want the sport to progress and keep progressing. So that's my biggest thing is I want teams in towns and cities where people want to go to games and they want to support the team, and we're not having these, third empty stadiums. I mean, that is just the worst thing that can happen for the league.
Salary cap.
So where are we sitting on your takes here? We got one in Gunther scored, so that did not help either one of us on our parlay yet, I don't think.
No, but I tell you what, Dylan Gunther, kind of a forgotten star. So I know in our Dynasty League, we had a draft recently, and he went a little bit later than expected. He had a big season last year, and he's super young. I want to say he had a year 20 last year. His 21-year-old is this year, and Utah has got a gem with him as well. Titch. Yep. So he said 10th round steal for Dylan Gunther. And yep. So Aaron Tometich, our co-host that couldn't join us tonight, he actually got him. But here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say right now is Utah's come out just how I expected them to come out. They have a little bit more of a step. The Hawks are maybe a little bit of a step behind. There's a lot of energy in that building. And I was really pushing people hard tonight for the puck line, -1.5. I know, Mike, Just no, it's not Gustafson, Mike. It's Genther, not Gustafson. And and also Utah in the first period over or for the money line, first period, and that's looking pretty good right now. Again, 11 minutes here. Low scoring game. Also, too, not many shots. Hey, JT, let's go ahead and maybe talk about a little bit. I got a couple bold predictions I want to talk about this year for the season. Maybe be a good time to maybe talk about that right now.
Yeah, let's jump into this. Let's talk about predictions. If you guys got any bets or anything you want to talk about for the year, season-long bets, some of them have been taken down. So be aware that now the season has officially started. Some of those bets have come off the board. But let's jump on some bold predictions and some things you like for the year. Toast, let's talk about a few of the ones that are kind of standing out to you this year.
So one of the big ones I want to talk about was an Evan Bouchard Norris Trophy for the best defenseman. So everybody thinks it's going to be Cale Makar. And again, I really can't disagree with Cale Makar. He's amazing. We all know how great Makar is. Makar is a guy who's going to get you 20 goals, 70 assists a year, 90 points. But Makar's also been often injured. And that Colorado team, they made us be a team that they're waiting to get Landeskog back. They're going to see how he's going to go ahead and progress. Nichushkin's actually in a player assistant program. They made us be satisfied with getting that playoff position and honestly not getting 110 points like they normally do. They may end up getting that third. Can you win a Norris actually knowing your team is your main goal is to win a Stanley Cup? It's not to go wild, kind of like the Bruins did a couple years ago and actually score 120, whatever it was, right? So there's an opening for Bouchard. Bouchard last season was his coming out party. And I believe he had something like 22 goals, something like 63 assists. And he is a point per game player. And that was his first season having the reins, right? With the best player in the world, like McDavid, with a top 5 player in the world like Draisaitl. So I really think, given where they were last year and how they ended up and having that big run, that this is Bouchard's time. And JT, you're probably checking right now to kind of see what those odds are, right? And I'm guessing for the Norris, Bouchard's odds are probably in the neighborhood of plus 500, plus 600. Normally, you would actually think, all right, what about Quinn Hughes right over in Vancouver? And Quinn Hughes, he's an assist first guy. Quinn Hughes is an amazing player, but assist first guy, he doesn't shoot the puck. So he's just assists. He's going to be 15 goals, 70 assists, right? And also, there's 2 more guys I want to talk about briefly, Roman Josi and Rasmus Dahlin. Josi is older. Nashville, we all know what they've actually done this year, man. They've turned over that roster. They've got a lot of talent now, but it takes time to gel. And Rasmus Dahlin, I love Rasmus Dahlin. We all do, right? But Rasmus Dahlin's on a Buffalo team that just really can't get out of their own way. Now, you would think they'd be good by now, but they're just not quite. That leaves you with Bouchard. I love Evan Bouchard. JT, what'd you actually find out? What's the odds on him for the Norris?
Yeah, so right now as we jump on FanDuel and look at theirs right now, we got the leading contender is Cale Makar, like you said, which we all knew would probably be the man. He's at plus 230. Adam Fox for the Rangers is at plus 600. I don't like that at all as the second best guy, I have to be honest with you. Quinn Hughes at plus 600, but we talked about Quinn Hughes. I took him in our Dynasty League in the draft. I didn't love the pick because we have a bangers league. He is an assist machine, but is he going to give you enough of anything else? That's the question. I mean, he's on a good team. He's going to get you points. I think he has to have like a monster goal year if he's going to do it. He's going to have to get those assists, but he's going to have to really crank the goals if he's going to win it, or he's going to have to start doing more on defense. Takeaways, hits, blocks, something if he's going to win it. Bouchard right now is at number 4 at plus 750, which I think toes where your head's at. It is solid. I like him. I think Edmonton's going to be good. We've talked about how much we think Edmonton should be one of the better teams in the West, especially in the Pacific, which has some really, really bad teams. he should be able to rack up some points against him. Yoshi right now is number 5 at plus 1,200, which if you get a run by Nashville, I could see that happening. I could see him winning that at plus 1,200. If you get a nice run where he's one of the top scorers of the entire team, I think you can see that happening. Right after him, it gets real close. Miro Heiskanen plus 1,300, Noah Dobson plus 1,500, Victor Hedman plus 1,500, and as you spoke before, Rasmus Dahlin plus 1,500. Dahlin, Sabres are going to have to be better. If he scores how he scored, he plays what he does, and I love him. We all know that he's my fantasy guy. He got snaked for me in my Dynasty draft. I'm still mad about it. I'm never going to not be mad about it. I love Dahlin, but until their team is better, he can still put up the stats he's putting up, but unless they are just over and above, the Sabres have to be better, or he's just not going to win it. It's just the way it is. And then you have, the long shots. Toast, let's talk about some long shots. If you want to get crazy up in here, Dougie Hamilton plus 3,000, Charlie McAvoy plus 4,000, Luke Hughes plus 6,000. It just, these are getting ugly, man. I just don't see it. Martise Sider, I love Sider plus 6,000. Yeah, these teams are going to have to be really good, and these guys are going to have to be dominant members of their team in order for these guys to hit. I have to agree with you right now. If I had to take my shot, Bouchard at plus 750 or Yossi at plus 1,200 would be the two guys I'd probably be on.
It's got to be Bouchard. Honestly, he plays as the best player in the world, like I said, and 2 of the 3 best players in the world. So the fact that he did it first last year, as I said before, I think that's a pretty safe bet. That's your best price. Let's just say that. All right. Let's set aside that for a second because, JT, I have another one I want to talk about. This is just how the Hawks played last year. 2 shots for Utah, 1 for the Hawks, playing a really slow game in between the blue lines, just playing tight to the vest. The Hawks actually, the mentality that Luke Richardson's actually come out with this team, they want to be tough to play against. They actually want to go ahead and be a grind 'em team. That's setting that winning mentality. That way, they actually, when they do get the firepower they actually need, they already have that culture set. And that's exactly what they're doing right here. So, this will put you to sleep. Yeah, I've watched maybe 1 minute of this game, and I'm actually a big fan, and yet nothing's really happened.
Yeah, me and John were just talking about this, right, John? We said, hey, this team is not ready to compete, but if they can play tough in these types of games and they can keep it close and stay in games without winning games, this is good for the Blackhawks because we all know they don't have enough talent right now. They just don't. They're young, but if they can play tough and stay in games and kind of get that winning mentality without necessarily winning, I think that's key, kind of what Toast just said. Don't you think, John?
Team chemistry sometimes is more important than winning games. It's okay. You don't have to see a scoreboard every week, every day that shows wins. What you want to see is progress. You want to see the passes happen. You want to see them be in the right spot. You want to see the defensemen, talking to each other from across the ice on what's going on when you see a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1. What are they doing? Watching them improve across the ice everywhere. And the most, your first line players are going to be good. To watch the special teams players come out there and do their job is important too. It's okay to lose. Nobody's ever going to say, man, I'm sick of losing. I want all these players to be great right now. You want better draft picks next year if you're not going to win. You want to see improvements. You want to see better players being pushed into a system every year, and the system improve and improve and improve and improve. And that's all you can expect. You saw it happen before with the Hawks. How many years in a row, or how many years they had such a great stretch with those Stanley Cup wins? It doesn't happen everywhere. It doesn't happen all the time. And the Hawks just they know what's going on. They've already experienced a rebuild and starting from scratch, going through the farm system and building a team. You can't really expect 3 Stanley Cup wins in a 7-year period again like you did before. But what you can expect is improvement, and that's all you can see. That's all you're expecting from this team, and you're just seeing the right pieces being put in place right now. The coaching, the defensemen, the additions of all these draft picks. I like that they're trading for draft picks. I like that they're getting a lot of draft picks. This is what you want to see your team do. I don't care if Utah wins 4-0 tonight or 4 or 5-0. That's their first game. Utah's a good team. They're going to be amped up at this new stadium.
That's offsides.
I saw that too.
That's offsides.
Oh,
that's offsides.
So these plays like this where something happens where somebody's offsides, they're going to review this play if you're watching it right now. If you're offsides, they're going to review it, and you could be all the way past. As long as your skate is behind the blue line, you could still make this goal. But they're going to review it right now, and a lot of these get overturned on these offsides plays. So let's.
Yeah, John, this one's going to hurt me because if this goes offsides, I had Keller with a point for my parlay, and he got a point on this. If this gets overturned, this is going to hurt me on my Utah -1.5 and the Keller point. We're waiting to see what happens here. Right now, it's 2-0 Utah with 6:25 left here in the first, and they're not reviewing it. Wow. That is pretty good. Clayton Keller gets the goal. I had Keller. I almost went with a goal. I went with a point. So far, that is looking good. Now I just need some shot props here.
Yep, and this is honestly, this is kind of what I expected. Again, you're gonna have a we've said it a million times. You're gonna have a team coming out just fired up to be in a new facility and a new city, a tough environment. The Hawks need to wake up. One shot on goal. That's not gonna actually do it at all. JT, I want to talk about another maybe, I guess, long bet, or really, I want to talk about something else here anyway. I really like Ottawa. I actually like Ottawa quite a bit. I think Ottawa's going to make the playoffs. They got Brady Tkachuk at 25 years old. You got Tim Stützle at 23. Batherson, 25 or 26 years old, I think. You got Josh Norris. You got Shane Pinto. You got Tomas Chabot. They got so much young talent, man. That team is actually, the time is now for them. They've never had good goaltending. And they got Linus Ullmark actually coming over to their team. 2 years ago, he actually won a Vezina with Boston during that big run they ended up having in the record-setting points for a team. And that's kind of what they've been missing. They also went out and got Nick Jensen. You're like, who's Nick Jensen? Nick Jensen actually comes from the Washington Capitals. He's a great defenseman, and that's actually exactly what they need is good defense. They've actually had offensive defensemen like Chabot, also like Jake Sanderson as well, but they actually have a veteran who actually knows how to win. He actually won a cup back in 2018 when they actually won their cup. And I believe that Ottawa's time's now. They actually need to win now. Last year, they only had 78 points. I think that magic number for them to actually make the playoffs is 93 points. Watch out for Ottawa. It's a critical time for Ottawa. It's a make or break time for them. If they don't make it this year, they do actually have some players actually coming up on contract, but it just seems like they've been going at this for too long. It'd be interesting to see what they end up doing.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Atlantic. I mean, I think the Atlantic is loaded, and we've talked about this a little bit. I mean, you've already got Florida, obviously defending champs. You got Tampa Bay, who's lost a little firepower. Stamkos is gone. You got Toronto, who has been, as we all know, a regular season beast, but can't get it done in the playoffs. And then you got a bunch of up-and-comers. You got Detroit right there on the verge. You got Buffalo right there on the verge. You got Ottawa right there on the verge. You got all these teams right on the verge. Montreal's the one team kind of stuck behind. And you got Boston, who was at that top echelon, who's now maybe sliding back. who gets in this division? Because I think if you take a couple of these teams and you put them in the Pacific, I think they make the playoffs easy. But I think the schedule is going to be very difficult in the Atlantic. Is there a way where Detroit, Ottawa, Buffalo, is there a way where any of those three teams can sneak into the playoffs with just this brutal division just loaded? I mean, literally, I don't think Montreal's as bad as their record's been. They're just in a loaded division.
Yeah, so that
Sorry, I was on mute. It's the first time that's actually happened tonight, but nevertheless, that brings me to Boston. Boston's the key. If Boston falls off the way that we think they're going to, that's going to actually make it a lot easier for Ottawa and Detroit. We know that Florida, Toronto, and Tampa Bay are going to be mainstays. Tampa Bay's actually had a lot of turnover, but when you actually lose Stamkos and you actually replace them with Gensel, a younger, you're not losing much. All right. And that organization knows how to win. I truly believe they'll actually be a playoff team. They're a lock for a playoff. Okay. Florida, we've seen them tonight. This what they normally do, right? And Toronto, we understand they'll make the playoffs, but after that, that's. Oh. So no, Mike. Mike just asked, should I live bet the Hawks? No, Mike. So Mike, my bet was on Toast Takes it's going to be Utah on the puck line and Barrett Hayton with an assist. Guess what? Barrett Hayton has an assist, and the Hawks are down 2. So if that holds, and Toast Takes will actually go perfect tonight. And I did not want that to go perfect versus the Hawks, but you've watched this, Mike. What do we have? 1 shot on goal. We need to wake up. We need to fire people right now. Okay. So let's get back to the Atlantic though. So Buffalo, they have a ton of talent. They should actually be way better than what they are. Ottawa, the same. I mean, Ottawa probably has the most young talent in the entire league. They need defense and they need stability at the goaltending position. They have not had either. If they can get that, this young talent's just waiting to take off, man. You know how I feel about Tim Stützle. All right. He's awesome. So Montreal is snake bitten. Kirby Dach is often injured, the ex-Hawk. And then Patrick Laine, the sign there, knee to knee contact there in the preseason, and he's going to be out 2 to 3 months. They just always have bad luck. And you know how that Montreal, or you end up knowing how that Canada media is, especially with all the teams. And Montreal is like the mecca of that. They can't get out of their own way. So I do believe Boston's going to fall off a little bit. Buffalo is just not going to get there. I watched the Ottawa versus Detroit race this year for that 4th spot, and that's going to be key. So, but I like Detroit, man. I like Detroit. Last year they were right there. I said they were a playoff team. They should have been a playoff team. They played great down the stretch. They got a good mix. They got Patrick Kane this entire season. He'll actually be there, and he was only there half the year last year, and he had a little bit of stint on the IR. And Dylan Larkin as well. They fell apart when he actually got hurt, and he's the mainstay. So I like Detroit.
I like Detroit too. Obviously, I'm a Detroit fan, but I thought they were in the mix. This is going to be close, Toast. I'm looking at this, trying to like do the math. Who do we think is going to make the playoffs out of the East? I got it pulled up right now. I think the Atlantic is where stuff's going to get wild. Metro, I don't know what you think. I think it's Jersey. I think it's the Rangers. I think the Islanders are in. I think those 3 teams are in. Now, the question is, who do you think 4th team in there from the Metro? Does Carolina sneak in? I think we're both out on Pittsburgh. I think we're both out on Washington. Philly, they're feisty. I don't know if they got enough to get in. Or is it Carolina? Or do we get 3 from the Metro and we get 5 from the Atlantic?
Yeah. So the Metro is not nearly as impressive, but Pittsburgh's dead in the water. They're done. And Sid Crosby will go down as one of the top 10 players to ever play this game. But he can't do it on his own. And this is his worst supporting cast he's actually ever had, ever. The Blue Jackets, you just, I mean, you ache for those guys. I mean, the loss of Gaudreau, right? They trade Line A. They, the list goes on and on. Yeah, Mike. Okay. And Washington.
Hey, Mike, good luck on that bet, brother. Good luck on that bet.
Yep. Washington is not really. They went out and actually bought them quite a bit of players this year, but their sole emphasis is actually on getting Ovechkin the goal record. And if he ends up getting a goal record, if he ends up making the 43, they could be in a playoff mix. That's the only way it's going to end up happening, right? They'll build that momentum. But you know how I feel about the Islanders. I like the Islanders, man. They got
fishermen, baby.
Yeah, they got good goaltending. They had a great preseason. This team had a great preseason. Patrick Waugh, kind of a jerk, right? But he's our jerk, I guess. So, great goalie. But JT, you mentioned Jersey, the Rangers, the Islanders, but Carolina. Carolina is going to be there. Carolina plays such a vanilla game, but it's by design, man. Carolina will actually be there. They are a fantasy hockey manager's nightmare, besides Svechnikov, because they want to play that type of game. They actually don't want to focus on any one given guy. So I believe I like Jersey, I like the Rangers, I like the Islanders, and I like Carolina. Those are my 4 teams. Philly is on a coming up, man. Matt Michkov, I actually drafted him in our Dynasty League. They're going to be a much improved team. They got Owen Tippett. They got Travis Konechny. That's a great core right there to actually start off with, all young as well.
All right, Toast. So you got those guys in the Metro. What about the Atlantic? We've got Boston, we got Detroit, we got Florida, Ottawa, Tampa Bay, Toronto, Buffalo. Who sneaks in there? For me, this is tough. I think Florida gets in. I think Toronto gets in. I think Tampa, even with everything that's happened, I think Tampa Bay still slides in, possibly. And I think Detroit. But if I have those 4, then Ottawa's out and Boston is out, which is tough to say. What do you think? I think this is going to be, again, I think it's going to come down to the last week of the season. And maybe like last year, the last game of the season.
Yeah, you're going to see Ottawa, Detroit, and Boston. That's the race right there. And if there's any indication tonight of Boston, I mean, obviously Korpisalo let up 4 goals. Swayman's their guy, not Korpisalo. All right. But nevertheless, what was Brad Marchand at tonight? He's 36 years old, right? 36. Marchand is still is an amazing player, but he's 36 years old. Pasternak could actually not carry this team all by himself. He's 28 years old. He's got his best years ahead of him. He's had an amazing career. But again, we said this Boston team is not what they actually used to be. I see Boston as 6 in that division. That's crazy to say. And at the end, people will probably say, you know what, Toast, look at what actually happened. They finished 3rd, right? Here's the reason why. Winning culture, man. Winning culture is everything. It's the same thing I'm going to say about Vegas. We should talk about Vegas here soon. We will. But Vegas has a winning culture from front office to players. They know how to win with the least amount of talent, with the least amount of whatever. But yet you look at them on paper and they're like, you're not that good. You shouldn't be this good.
Toast, this is what we call a transition. Nice transition into the Western Conference. Let's talk about who we like in the West. Obviously the Central used to be just an absolute powerhouse. The Central is down. They're down. Like, there's no way to look at it. They got two absolute stud teams in Dallas and Colorado. Everybody else is kind of fighting. And then we've got the Pacific, which we talked about earlier in the year. Edmonton, Vancouver, absolute studs. Where's Vegas in that mix? Let's go over the West. Who do we got as our 4 teams? 3 or 4 teams from the Western and then for the Pacific to get in the playoffs.
Well, the Central's a better division. There's no doubt about that, because people are actually going to forget about how good Nashville is. Nashville actually finished second last year, and Nashville goes out and gets Stamkos. They get Marchessault as well. They got Tommy Novak actually center in that second line. That first line they did not want to disrupt of Forsberg, and geez. I got to look at my cheat sheet here anyway. I normally can actually pull these off out of my rear. So
Stas, you're looking at that. We've got our other co-host is not with us tonight. John McGlynn is stepping in for Aaron Tometich. We appreciate that all the way from Chicago. Titch has got Rangers, Devils, Canes, Islanders, Florida, Detroit, Ottawa, Leafs in the playoffs from the East. He's got Boston and Tampa out.
Tampa.
Those are tough ones there. I think Detroit and Ottawa are on the come up. Boston and Tampa a little bit behind. Do those teams have enough to get by them? I think it comes down to goaltending. Can Detroit and Ottawa get enough goaltending to get past those 2 teams?
That is the key. So Boston, great goaltender in Swayman. Tampa, Vasilevsky, we know who he is right? But Ottawa and Detroit has 3 freaking goalies. They got Husso and a couple other guys. So they're undecided. Literally, they're going to camp. They're breaking roster with 3 goalies. So,
all right, so jump in here. Let's get into our West here, as we're currently 2-0. Utah beating Chicago. We're at the intermission of the first period, going to the second period right now. 2-0. The Utah Yetis, I'm calling them that till the end of time. They better become the Utah Yetis. They are up 2-0 currently. Who do we like in this Western Division? Let's go Central first, Pacific second.
Okay.
I did it again. I was muted. So anyway, so hey JT, I would say in the Central, you have Colorado, but Dallas is really the cream of the crop. Dallas, it's their time. They're full of young talent. You got Stankoven. You got Wyatt Johnson. You got Ben. He's young, or he's old anyway. And you end up that first line is truly amazing, with Hentz and Robertson. So they've got to be the top. Colorado, again, I think that Colorado is going to maybe limp through some of the season, but they'll be there at the end. Winnipeg has the goaltending. They got Connor Hellebuyck. They got Mark Scheifele at center. And they have Kyle Connor, your guy, right? Kyle Connor. And then Nikolai Ehlers. But they fall off after that. I just don't really see them being that deep. So, but Winnipeg's a team I think will be there just because of their pedigree. They've actually been there before, and they got great goaltending. So, you were asking me, I don't know, maybe tee this up again for me. Exactly who was actually going to be where. So.
Yeah, so this is who's going to make the playoffs in the West. I think this one's a toughie. I'll give you mine first, Toast, and then you come back with yours. I think Colorado, Dallas are in for sure. I think Nashville's in. I think those 3 are in. I think the big question mark is, can Minnesota or St. Louis do enough to get in? I think maybe Minnesota. Winnipeg, like you said, I like Winnipeg. I like Hellebuyck. I just don't know if they have enough firepower. And can Hellebuyck just absolutely stand on his head all season? I think that's the only way they get in, is he just absolutely plays lights out and saves them all year. You go to the Pacific. To me, it's Edmonton all day long. Vancouver, absolutely. I think LA has enough. I like the Kings. I think the Kings are in. This is where I think it gets ugly because I think I have 3 teams for sure in East Division. I think Colorado, Dallas, Nashville, Edmonton, Vancouver, LA. Those are my 6. And I think it is an absolute race to the finish on the last 2. I think Minnesota's in that mix. I think St. Louis is in that mix. Vegas, though, I think is going to be down just because of who they are. They always seem to be there. I think Vegas ends up being in the mix as well. I'm not sure anybody else has enough. I think Vegas and Winnipeg, they're going to be right there. I think both those teams are very flawed teams, but they can make it in if they can get it right at the end. If they can do just enough, I think they can sneak in as an 8th seed. But both those teams, I don't love what they have. I just think they're both very skinny teams. They just don't have a lot. And that's what makes me nervous on them. But I think this is Colorado, Dallas, Edmonton, Vancouver, top 4 pretty handily right now.
Yeah, I agree. Out of the Central, it's going to be Colorado, Dallas, and Nashville. Those 3 teams are locks to actually get in. And then we're going to have Edmonton and Vancouver. There's 5 right there. Okay. You're going to see a battle between the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Minnesota will be there. I'm telling you right now, St. Louis will not be there. They're not be there. They don't have enough offense. Bennington played out of his mind last year and actually had another great game tonight. And Hofer, their backup, pretty darn good, but they don't have enough. They don't have enough. Utah doesn't have enough. Chicago doesn't actually have enough. Seattle doesn't have enough. And you know how I feel about Vegas. It's got to be the LA Kings. LA Kings are going to be there. Obviously, Vancouver as well. We already mentioned them as well. But Anaheim, Calgary, they're rebuilding us. So I don't know, JT. We've went through all of the teams here. I'm just kind of jumping around, but nevertheless, I'm just telling you, Colorado, Dallas, and Nashville are a lock for the Central. And Pacific, Edmonton, and Vancouver, and I'm going to say LA, they're locked. Those 6. After that, you're actually going to see that Minnesota, Winnipeg, and probably Vegas. Those 3 teams are going to be vying for the last 2 spots. I think Vegas will be on that side.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to Vegas and Winnipeg there. I agree with you. I think it just I don't know if Vegas has a nut. Mike says take toast steaks. I did it again is the new slogan. Absolutely. He does it again all the time, just dominating. Getting off to a hot start. I'm upset I wasn't all on those toast takes to begin the year. Bad podcast teammate here. I should have been all over those early. I didn't get those bets in early enough, and they smoked. I've got my bet still alive. We got to hope that one keeps going. John, do you got our updated home league scores up? Where are you at?
I am right now myself. I'm up 43-35. All right. So that's all that really matters what I'm doing right now. But I'll tell you what, there's let's see. America's SEAL team is 17. Slewfoot is 23. Okay. Yzerman and let me get these.
His pants.
The full name. Yzerman in my pants is up 25-22 over Host's Jefferson Malort. Malort is absolutely terrible. I don't know if you ever had Malort before, but well, Toast is terrible too. So is Malort. So that's so then we got Long Live the Note is 31 over 5-hole ticklers of 13. Then we have the other fantastic game, the Meat Sweats. I love the name, the Meat Sweats, 18, and Hull and Oats, 45. So as of right now, scoring, I'm thoroughly in command of my game right now. I have almost a 10-point league, even though I only have 4 guys playing. This is fantastic.
Awesome.
But as far as scoring is concerned, that's how do you ask for more than 43 points on this first night? I mean, I think I'm leading. No, actually, I'm tied. I'm 43.1 to 40. Damn. Now I'm in second place right now in highest scoring for this scoring period. The scoring in this league is it's a 7-day period. Hockey is a game of like a week at a time scoring system. So whatever happens today, it's not the big deal. You're gonna have to. It's when you have the entire league playing one day, pretty much, is when you got to pick your right. You got to make your right decisions. But when you only have 1 or 2 guys playing, it's kind of like there's no luck involved. You have 5 or 6 empty spots on your bench. You're like, okay, these are my guys who I can actually start today, and our guys are doing pretty good. 43 points, some points is not too shabby. I'm pretty happy with my team right now. So we don't even have our first week in, so we don't have any who's winning the division right now, or there's no games behind. You just kicked it off today, so I'm super happy with this Austin Powers team of mine. That's what it's called, because I do have a pretty good player named Austin on my team. And that's what else can you ask for? I'm playing Crack House. I mean, what do you expect from a team named Crack House? So, I mean, I'm okay with that. The Austin Power play beating Crack House 43-35. I expect that to continue. That's going to be, hopefully this doubles to 80, 90, 100 something to 50 something. That's what I'm hoping for. That's my prediction for my one-on-one matchup now. And what do you expect?
Hey, John, do you think this is going to be counted in grams? I mean, with the Crack House?
You know what? Wins in grams is not, that's, I don't know how he's counting, but right now he's counting himself out because I'm winning 43-35, and it's all that really matters. But, hey, who cares? That's what it's all about.
Hey, John, Mike says, I'm rooting for you, John. He says, you're my guy. He says, the prescription is more John. I love it. Absolutely fantastic. Side note, Jacuzzi in My Pants is my favorite NFL fantasy team name ever. It's not as good as Iserman in My Pants, but it's close. It's close, Mike. Iserman in My Pants is my hockey team name. It's the best team name of all time.
I'm gonna
we got a new guy, Robert Thomas. Thanks, Robert, for jumping in. He says,
"Oh, crap. For the Blues."
He says, "I guess I got to add another show to my weekly lineup." Absolutely, you got to put in the Around the Ice in your weekly lineup. We appreciate it, Robert. Thanks for jumping in and saying, "Hey, what do you think, Toast? You want to talk more bets? Let's talk more bets."
So, JT, I actually want you to go ahead and bring up the betting app you have there. And I want to go ahead and go through some of the futures, and let's talk about them. Just randomly bring them up. We'll chat about them. I say we actually go through goals, over-unders, and also maybe points. Let's do that.
We can jump on some player goals and some player points. We've got some trophy awards as well. We can always jump on. This is one that's going to be a big one because everybody loves him. He's John's favorite player. His team's named after him, Austin Matthews.
So I say Andrew Shaw, old mutt.
Austin Matthews is over under 55.5 goals, minus 114 on the season. What do you think? Austin Matthews has been a scoring machine. Does he get over 55? What do you think, John? You jump in here and tell us.
I think he's going to score 273,000 goals this season. So that's that. What else can who doesn't think that? I mean, that's going to. Well, I'm taking the over on that too. Okay, now that's if you want to bet here, live bet action right now, and do not take this seriously. This is not official gambling advice. Do not take the over on Austin Matthews. Absolutely. So I have some. We just talked about team names here. Okay, I put in Chad GPT about what's the 50 best any fantasy hockey team names you could do. So number 1, Puck and Awesome. These are not in order of best to worst, just a bunch of names. Puck and Awesome, Stick Magnets, Puck Dynasty, The Mighty Pucks, Hat Trick Heroes, Frozen Biscuit Bandits, Ice Ice Baby, How I Met Your Goalie, Drop the Gloves, The Big Freeze, Puck Norris, like Chuck Norris. That's a great one.
Oh,
Stick It to Him. The Goal Busters instead of Ghostbusters. That's a good one too. The Net Results, Top Shelf Trouble, D Squad, D Squad's a good one too. That's pretty good. The Zamboni Warriors, the icing on the cake. That's fantastic too. Skate or Die, Penalty Box Heroes. That's a great. Icebreakers, Slap Shot Shenanigans, the Frosty Pucks, Rink Rats, the Enforcers, Face Off Fanatics, the Mighty Ducks Tribute, Blades of Glory. That's a good one too. Power Playmakers, High Stick Hustlers, Frozen Assets. Frozen Assets is a good one. That's pretty good. The Breakaway Bandits, Game of Stones.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Mark Stone. Blue Line Bruisers, Ice Cold Stunners, Hat Trick Swayze. Oh, that was great. The Rink Kings, Net Crushers, Puck 'em Up, Sticks and Stones. That's good. The Great Ones, Frozen Puckers. The Dangleberries. That's fantastic too.
That's good.
The Gold Diggers, Slashing Pumpkins. That's a great one too. Skate Nation, Lumberjack Warriors, Puck You, and Sin Bin All Stars. There you go. So the top 50 from Chad GDP that says fantasy hockey names. Put more in there, but that's tonight's episode of Chad GDP hockey names. All right. So that wasn't bad at all.
John, those were absolutely phenomenal. I'm dying laughing. Those were great. I'll say the name, but behind my name, obviously Steve Eiserman, my favorite player ever. And then it was that Saturday night skit where it says "jizz in my pants." It was Eiserman in my pants is where I got that one. I was like, I would play the video for you if we wouldn't get sued for copyright infringement. I would play it right now, but I cannot. And then Toast has a great one, us being from Illinois and Chicago, him being a Blackhawks fan with the Malort, Jepson's Malort. If you've never been in the Midwest, if you've never tried Jepson's Malort, you're welcome. Thank you for not trying it. It's terrible. But if you ever come here, someone will force you to drink it, and you will try to pretend you like it, but you will hate it. It's just the way it goes. And we might have a goal. No. Oh,
Top of the net.
thought we had a goal from Taylor Hall. Went top of the net. Just missed for the Blackhawks. So still 2-0 as we just are 30 seconds into the second period here. Game 3 of opening night for NHL hockey. So far, Toast, give us a rundown. What's the scores so far tonight?
Yeah, so St. Louis won 3-2 at the 3:30 game, and I believe Florida went ahead and I think they won that game 6-4 over Boston, and we were 2-0 Utah over Chicago early in the second period.
Mike says, I'll pay the legal fees. No, I'm laughing at Mike. Mike says, I'll pay the legal fees. I don't think Mike has the money to pay the legal fees. We're not going to take a chance on that one. And then Mike also says, Malort is good with milk.
You're full of shit, Mike.
He is lying.
Oh,
Mike had to take.
man.
Oh, almost got. So Mike at our whoever takes the first kicker of our home league football draft has to take a shot provided by the bartender, and it's bartender's choice. Mike got Malort this year, and he was not happy about it. He did not see it coming. It was Mike spent a couple of minutes in the bathroom. He was struggling. So it's the Malort is real. If you come to Chicago, you come to Illinois, you'll get the Chicago handshake. Somebody will buy you a shot of Malort and a PBR.
Old style.
Or an old style. Old style, most places, if they don't have old style, they'll get you a PBR. So good call, John. John, I know you're a lover of the Malort.
I am not a lover of the Malort. As a matter of fact, it's kind of one of those, it's a losing bet shot. You know, it's one of those things where you absolutely lose a bet. Like we talk about your hockey league, you lose a bet. We when you see Malort at a Bears game, usually you walk away. It's one of those things where like I'm like a sewer. I can drink anything. I can drink margaritas. I can chug I don't get brain freezes. I don't get a bunch of stuff like that. I absolutely love all the situations that most bars have as far as margaritas. Any kind of mixed drinks, Jack and Coke, any of those things, any kind of drinks that a bar serves, I'm pretty much good with. I can even drink Ouzo. I don't know if you ever had Ouzo before, but Ouzo is one of those things where it tastes like black licorice. It's a Greek drink. It's you can most bars in Chicago have. I think most bars across anywhere have Ouzo. It's not a bad drink, but Malort is just something you can't even explain what Malort tastes like. It's like sour cat piss. It's the worst taste ever. It's absolutely terrible. There's not a shot I could think of. I could do any kind of vodka in a shot, which is actually vodka is actually terrible in a shot, but I could do it if I had to. I could do any kind of whiskey pretty much. I'm not a big bourbon guy as much as bourbon is kind of one of those things. But Malort is just a taste that it is absolutely terrible. I think you have to try it one time in your lifetime, JT. It's one of those things where if you're somewhere and Malort is at a bar, you got to try it if you've never had it before, just to experience what Malort is actually like. But it's bad. My kid and his friends, what they do is they go to the bar and they order, like, they'll tell the bartender if somebody went to the bathroom or something like that, they'll get around the shots and they'll all look the same, like whiskey, like all brown, but they'll put the Malort in front of the guy who just left. So then they'll do a shot of whiskey or tequila or something like that. And one guy gets a Malort when he gets back from the bar, from the bathroom. And you can see his face. You know instantaneously that you didn't get whiskey or you didn't get tequila when you get a shot of Malort, because it tastes like I said, it tastes like rotten cat piss. It's absolutely terrible. So I don't know how often you guys drink Malort, but it's not something I have on the reg for sure. And like I said, I'm like a sewer. I could pretty much drink anything. I can chug margaritas. I don't get brain freezes because I don't have a fucking brain. And I could pretty much drink almost anything out there, but Malort is something I do not like.
I always tell people it's not necessarily the initial taste of the Malort. It just doesn't go away. It just sits on your tongue. It coats your tongue, and anything you drink for the next hour tastes like Malort. That's the problem. If it would just dissipate, it would be so much better. And I tell anybody, if you've never gone to YouTube and looked up Malort commercial, do yourself a favor. If you've ever actually had Malort, you will laugh your ass off. It's the funniest. It is literally the funniest freaking commercial I've ever seen in my life. It's hilarious. Go to YouTube, look up Malort commercial, and it's a supposed one of the owners of Malort, and he's shooting commercial for Malort. It's absolutely hysterical. If you've ever drank it, you're like, oh, I understand what he's saying. It's so funny.
If you find the owner Malort, do you shake his hand or you slap him in the face? That's kind of what I want to know. Like, is it one of those things where it's like, dude, what did you do to us? Like, what happened to the face of the earth what did you say one day? Said, like, I'm going to make this thing that people are going to lose bets and have to drink my drink, and I'm going to be known for Malort. I don't understand. How do you greet? What is the typical the greeting for that guy, Mr. Malort? What do you do with that one, JT?
That's a good question. Malort might be the most famous thing for being bad. You know what I'm saying? It's super famous. It makes a good amount of money, but it makes good money for being terrible. But hey, isn't that Chicago? Isn't that the Midwest? We just love to punish each other.
I'm going to call it the kale of drinks, okay? Because nobody likes kale. Kale's absolutely horse shit too. It's something you can add to salad. You can't add Malort to anything. You can't add it to. There's no like Malort and Coke or Malort and 7-Up or Malort and whatever you mix with
Malort and crap.
Yeah, it probably tastes better with crap than it would with anything else, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's brutal. Malort is a rosé and national anthem. Yeah, that's about right, Mike. Yeah, Malort. If you have not had it, you have to have it at least one time. It's pretty terrible, but we just went on our Malort rant after Toast's home league team name. So hey, there's nothing. It's good. You got to try it once, and then once you try it, you have to buy it for everyone who's never had it. It's just the ritual. That's what you got to do. You got to buy it for everyone who's never had it and make them feel the pain and misery you felt when you did. All right. Over the Malort talk. Toast, let's get back to some bets. Should we? What do you think?
I'm ready. It's been great, though. But this is exactly what I want of a live cast. All right. So, but let's get back to some bets. Let's get back to some futures. We have all kinds of time here. The Hawks have actually played a lot better in this second period. They're actually closing up the shot gap here. They're playing a lot more aggressive. Here we go. Little things like that right there. Again, putting pressure in the offensive zone here. I like what the Hawks, they come out better. I mean, they were asleep at the wheel in the first period there. So yes, let's talk about some best, JT.
All right, Toast. We didn't talk about this beforehand, so I'm just gonna kind of hit you up here. We're gonna go. We're gonna go rapid fire over under goals on this year. This is on FanDuel right now. Goals that are out there for players. Rapid fire over under. Brady Kachuk 36.5.
Under.
Braden Point 40.5.
Under.
Chris Kreider 36.5.
Over.
Connor Bedard 34.5.
Over.
Connor McDavid 42.5.
Over because over
because he's over. I love that. David Pastrnak over under 48.5.
He'll reach 50. Over. They have nobody else.
Phil Forsberg over under 40.5.
Under because Stamkos and Marchessault, it's going to be more of a shared deal. I would actually like to see his assist total.
Jake Gunsel 34.5.
Over because Stamkos in that slot position over on the left side, he'll take that position. Yes, Gensel will definitely, he'll exceed that easily.
This one's going to be throw you off. Jeff Skinner over under 30.5.
That's going to be under. I like Skinner actually being over in Edmonton now. A $3 million deal, JT, for 1 year. We picked him up. You don't really know that, though, in our Dynasty League. I picked him up. We got in our cap league, too, man. $3 million. How about that? People were pissed when they actually did that. But nevertheless, he won't reach 30, all right? But if it was at 24.5, absolutely over.
30.5. You took under. What, are you just making up numbers? 24.5? 30.5. You took under.
Oh, no,
right?
I'm just saying, but I like 24.5.
Oh, okay. I like you.
Yeah,
over
yeah.
24.5. All right, you're throwing me off on
under 30.5. Under.
Okay.
Quick, rapid fire. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like under 30.5. I agree. There's reports came out today that he might be bottom 6. He might not even make top 6 on them. So yeah, I like the under.
They got Henrique, and he'll be top 6 eventually. Go ahead. Next one.
Mike says Bedard over. Nice Toast. That's true. He is over. He's looking good.
Bedard.
Marcia Show 30.5.
Under.
Kaprizov 45.5.
Over. This will be his best season. He's on a contract year. This is over for sure.
Leon Draisaitl 47.5.
I'm gonna go ahead and say over. He is the best. He's the best shot on one-timers for the right-handed side of the ice in the league, and it's not even close.
Rookie action. Macklin Celebrini over 25.5.
I'll go under. The simple fact that San Jose is just awful. They have Zetterlund, they have Eklund, they have him, and we talked about this in a previous podcast. They were 18 years old and 19 years old up the middle on their first 2 lines. That's not going to bode well. They're going to struggle. That does not mean they're not good. All right, because these rookies are damn good. So, but under for sure.
Over under. Mike going to lose $1,000 on the Hawks money line tonight.
We should just make this a Mike. Yeah, hey Mike, keep betting. I mean, we're not even halfway through the game here. I've watched 2 minutes. Here's the deal. We need a goal. All right, we need a goal.
Well, first of all, the Hawks are leading the shots on goal 4-2 in the second period. They have more shots already in the second period than they did in the first period combined. So only 7 minutes in this 6.5 minutes in this period, they already have 4 shots on goal. So they made some. Obviously, they went in the locker room, made some kind of adjustments to be here to get some more shots on goal off. They're leading. They're down. It's 7 shots for the Blackhawks, 9 for Utah right now so far in the game.
Yeah.
But it was 3-7 in the first period. You only get 3 shots off in any period is not a good thing for anyone. So
no, this is hey John, this is a situation where again, this is exactly how the Hawks played last year. I'm not saying it's a bad winning. It's not a bad formula. They play in between the blue lines. They actually play a slow number game. This is the way they actually want to go ahead and play. They're wanting to win the corner battles and just keep the game close as they can possible to give their young guys experience actually playing in close games. But yeah. Oh, here we go. Oh.
that was a sloppy setup.
Okay. Yep.
Toast, they had a shot there. You told me not to take any of the Blackhawks shots on goal, and I'm regretting taking Bertuzzi as he's the one burying me right now with 0 shots on goal.
No, you just need to listen to me from now on. I told you that Utah, the puck line, and also, and Barrett Hayton to get an assist. So far, that's good. This, hey, JT, I want you to actually go ahead and just follow Toast Takes. Just bury him all year.
Hey, that's the way to go. That's what you just follow the Toast Takes, and you'll be good. Hey, let's give us these last couple of goal scorers. All right, I'm hitting you with it. Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk, 36.5.
That's going to be under. I still think Tkachuk is going to get a crap ton of assists. He's probably going to be more like 31, 32. It's going to be just slightly under.
Zajimajad, 30.5.
Over. I like that.
Mikko Rantanen, 40.5.
Over. Because over.
Nathan McKinnon, 42.5.
Over. He's second best player in the world. He'll find his way over.
I'm glad he found his way back to my fantasy team.
Yes.
After that trade I made a couple years ago when I put the first round tender on him, and then I traded him, and I forgot to put it back on the other guy I traded him to. I'm so mad about that. Nika Kucherov, 37.5. Over.
That's gonna be under because I can see Kucherov going like 32 and 90. Like honestly, like it's gonna be. He's gonna have 35 goals, 90 assists. So yeah, under.
Sidney Crosby, 35.5.
Over because that's all they have. And he's still again a top 10 player that ever played the game.
Steven Stamkos, new team, new era, 34.
Let's say over. He's usually covered that over. That'd be 35 goals. He's in a better situation now. I'm sorry. He's in a similar situation now. He was in a very good situation before, but he graduates to a pretty good situation now. The situation is he's on a second line, Marchessault, who's a goal scorer himself. He loves to shoot the puck, and a Tommy Novak on a second line as well. But that first line, again, a Forsberg, Nyquist, and Philip Forsberg as well. That's a great top 6. So I'm going to say over.
And then the most important bet of the entire season, Alex Ovechkin, regular season milestones, scores 42 plus goals, breaks Gretzky's career goal record plus 1,000 right now. Does he do it? Did he get 42?
I told you on a podcast maybe, I don't know, a month ago that was a stone cold lock. That I may regret that, but I will tell you that by their actions on that team, they care about winning. They went out and got PLD, who nobody's really a big fan of. I mean, he's 26 years old and nobody wants him, but he's a great talent. Oh.
Utah Hockey Club back on the board, 3-0 with a goal. We'll see who got it. I couldn't tell if it was off the slap shot or the deflection. We'll see who they ended up knocking us. It's 3-0 Utah over the Blackhawks with 11:14 left here in the second period. So did you see who they gave that to?
I want to say Sergachev, but we'll see.
Damn. From the blue line.
Yeah, so it's deflection.
Oh my gosh, that was a great freaking shot.
Was that Hayden?
Shot.
It was great redirection.
I think it was Barrett Hayton. He's already had an assist tonight. I hyped him up before the game with a goal now as well. Check that, JT. See if that was him. But if it was him, that's a guy who people actually should have
We're
on
getting
there.
Barrett Hayton with Sergachev with the assist. You told me to take Hayton. I told you, shockingly, it was not on FanDuel. I couldn't take him, so I had to take him over. I took the shots instead, but he's got a goal and assist. You said take him for assist. He's now got 2 points.
Yep. Toast Takes is dominated tonight.
Killing it. I love this Ovechkin to get over 42 for plus 1,000. We were on him last year. I liked what it was up, and he got off to such a slow start last year. But I think I like it at the plus 1,000. I love those bets. I like just like the odds.
Yeah, he came on. Hey, last year, the start of the season, you remember that whole team. It was a dumpster fire, man, and he did nothing. I will say the last 22, 23 games, he had like 22 goals in the last 23 games. I expect the fact that he ended up showing off there at the end will help. Here's what I will say is a concern. He can no longer play 3-on-3 hockey because he is not fast enough. He cannot skate fast enough. So on 3-on-3, and how many games in the NHL does 3-on-3 hockey actually happen? Probably I'd say 25, 30% of the games actually going to go overtime. Or 3-on-3, he's not going to see the ice because he cannot play defense. He's not fast enough. So that may end up mattering, but nevertheless, 43 goals, considering what he did last year in the last 25 games, I like it. And that's their sole purpose in that franchise. It really is.
So you want to jump in some more player bets?
No, I'm dying to. Let's do it.
All right, let's do player points. Another quick hitter at you. My guy, Barkov, 82.5.
Let's go ahead and go under. Here's the reason why. Barkov actually plays both ways. Best 200-foot player in the league.
I hate it.
But it's the truth. I like him more being like a 75, 74, 73-point player because he plays in every scenario on the ice. He's just a winner.
Johnny, this one's for you. Austin Matthews, total regular season points over under 98.5.
98.5.
What's his goal total?
We talked about it earlier. That's at
43, right?
It's at 55. 55. So we're looking for 40, 42, 45 assists.
Oh man. I'm gonna say that's pretty damn close. I'm gonna say I'm gonna take the under on that.
So you concur?
Who are we talking about?
Austin Matthews, 98.5.
It's
So Austin Matthews will have 60 goals. So you're gonna have to think about 35 assists.
So you need 40 assists out of him to cover.
He's not a 40 assist guy.
That's what John just said. John said under on the 98.5. You under
Sorry.
98.5?
The Hawks are on the power play, so I was just kind of
Oh,
like,
you're right.
yeah,
You're right. So you're on under the Austin Matthews 90.5.
definitely.
John was on under it. I think you're under. I think I'm under on that. I think he can get 60 goals.
I would
I'm
even
not
say
sure he
a,
gets 40
I would even
assists.
say a 65-30. Yeah, it's gonna be close. Be close. They got that price right.
Brady Kachuk, 81.5 total points.
Brady is gonna be under. He's gonna be 33 goals, 40 assists, 320 shots on goal, 320 hits, and 100 PIMs. So he's going to fill up a stat sheet. But this is not his game. It's not his game to be over a point per game player. If he does, then next year in redraft leagues, he should be top 6 or 7 in every redraft league. This year, he probably got an ADP of like 12, 13.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially, I mean, he's a beast in our league and our in our hits league. He's looking good. Braden Point, no Stamkos, 89.5.
We're gonna go under because Point is a guy who will proven to be a 40-40 guy. So to get over 90, I can't tell you. I would assume he has not done it often, if ever. And if he has, it's been very few. So I'm going to say under. Gensel will eat those up.
Those, I will agree. I feel like these numbers are real juiced right now. Like, I feel like almost all these should be, most of these should be unders. I feel like they're taking the fact that fantasy players want to take over. I feel like all these numbers are about as max as they can get. What about Cale McCarr? 87.5.
That 87.5 is all fueled by health. If he is healthy and he ends up playing 80 games plus, that's easy. That's not even in the conversation. That's easy money. But McCarr has shown
Is he like 65, 70 assist guy?
Yep. Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
he's gonna be a 25-80 guy. But his problem is he plays an average of probably 67, 68 games a year.
Talking about our boy in the game right now, Connor Bedard, 79.5.
Yes. So last year he was 61 points in 68 games. He has a way better supporting cast around him. Do not be fooled by tonight. Again, a Utah team that is very excited to be in their opening night of their city for the very first time and rejuvenated. This is exactly what I expected. Bedard will be a point per game player this year.
Johnny, you think so too? You like Bedard over 79.5?
Yeah, if you're going to point per game, 72, I'll take 79.5. Yeah.
Yep, I like it too. This one there just juicing the momo out of this. Connor McDavid.
Get in there!
Almost a score right here by the Blackhawks. Tough look. Nice save.
He hesitated for a second. There was a spot available for him to shoot. And he hesitated and the window closed.
I like the way the Hawks are pressuring right now.
Still 3-0 Utah over the Blackhawks right now. 5:40 left here in the second quarter. As we're doing, in case you're just joining us on this night, we're 2 hours.
Great pass by Bedard. I think Seth Jones was in there too, and who ended up scoring it? Was that Kershev?
I don't know. I saw Bedard go down the ice and he avoided a hit and kept the puck. It was absolutely fan. He made himself so small against the boards to avoid losing the puck.
Teravainen with the goal, I believe. If it was Kershev, I'm turning $1.50 into $415. Yeah, but here we go. Look at Bedard actually making something here. Great pass, man. I tell you what, that's pushing the puck up the ice. Right around. Hey, Sergachev is pretty bad defense right there.
Did Teravainen get in?
Teravainen
get in that one. I think Teravainen got that.
Hey, Mike goes Bedard.
It was a great move by him. Look this one up real quick.
Here we go, scrum. Hey, let's go ahead and let be yourself. Let's let Utah go ahead and just put themselves in a box here. I'd like a power play. That'd be great. Yeah. I'll go ahead and check and see. Let's see. So we have Teravainen unassisted. Bedard was on the assist, and so far. I think that was a 3-player scoring there, though. I think we have 2 players on the assists. Yeah, so far we've got Teravainen. Bedard is definitely on the assist there.
Johnny McGlynn, isn't Teravainen? Is he on your team?
He is on my team.
Pretty sure you got him.
Blackhawks' first power play is Bertuzzi, Teravainen, Taylor Hall, Connor Bedard, and Seth Jones. So we're about to see these guys in the ice if it comes up to a Blackhawks power play.
I love it. Hey, Mike, this keep them coming. I mean, like Mike, you're carrying. Hey, you're carrying this podcast.
We appreciate everybody jumping in, making comments. Any questions you got, ask us. We're going to keep going away here for just a little bit longer, but at 2 hours and 15 minutes here, Tess. We're gonna probably probably to the end of this quarter or the end of this period, and we'll go from there.
Hey, JT, let's go ahead and maybe pause for like 2 minutes. We'll get ourselves set, and we'll come back.
All right, we're gonna go just a quick break here. Just a quick break, and we'll be right back.
I mean, it's just Mike. I mean,
we can. Hey,
the third period.
jumping on her, just throw me vodka and.
Hey, I'm just fucking dominating.
So yeah, here's our scoring setting for our scoring right now in our league. Austin Powers, which is my team, the Austin Power Play. I'm at 50 points. I am not leading the league in scoring right now. That is Hull and Oates has 52. So it's 50-37. I am dominating Crackhouse right now, as usual. It's to be expected anyway. So we're talking America SEAL Team 6-17, Slewfoot 26. That's another matchup right now. The Yzerman in my pants 25. Hosts Jefferson Malort 25. So right now there is minimal scoring going on. That's whatever. Those guys are terrible. So long live the note 33. 5-hole ticklers 13. One of those right now off the bat. A little bit uneven matchup right now, but more scoring to come. Meat Sweats 18, Hall and Oates 52. This is a whitewash right now. A lot of scoring going on here. Connor Bedard with 2 points right now. Evan Rodriguez with 7. Pavel Zaka 7. Aaron Eklund 2. Eklund to Ekmad. Yes. So 31-18 today, 52-18 across the board so far. So our scoring updates right now after the games that took place today, 1.5 way through this Blackhawks game. There's where we stand. Just so everybody's aware of how our hockey team, our hockey league is producing. So we're gonna get back to the action here as the Chicago Blackhawks are on a power play with 1:02 left in the second period. The Blackhawks bring up the ice, dump it in the zone. We got Hawks take control again in the Utah zone. Now it's back out. Utah dumps the puck. There will be a line change here. Blackhawks take their time. They're changing players also. They're bringing up the ice. And there's a nice pass center ice. Another dump on a Blackhawks into behind the goalie. This is kind of a back and forth event right now. Now another dump pass.
John, let's just say what it is. It's been a shit power play for the Hawks.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, the problem with the Blackhawks right now is they're just kind of dumping the puck instead of trying to work it in. I mean, you can't just throw it behind the goalie and expect to dig it out, even on a power play. As soon as they touch the puck, they're just going to dump it. I don't understand why you leave the puck that wide open in the opponent's zone. It doesn't make any sense. work the puck through. You got an extra player on the ice. Why are you dumping it in? Why don't you take your time? If you play the game between the blue lines, why do you change the game in a power play and dumping it behind the goalie? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yep,
Hey,
makes sense.
Toast, let's do a little recap on our bets so far. What we've hit tonight, what we have not hit. Currently, on my same game parlay tonight, I am a Tyler Bertuzzi shot away from winning the Sutter.
Okay.
So I've already got a Keller point. I've got Hayton 2 shots. I need a Bertuzzi 1 more shot, and I got Utah -1.5. So we're looking all right now. Break down where you're at on the Toast takes tonight.
Well, Toast Takes is actually we started tonight. St. Louis versus Seattle. That was under 6. That went 3-2. That went under. 1 for 1 there. Oh, do we have a power play coming up here? Maybe the Hawks are actually going to be on a power play, or we're going to shorthanded. We'll see. Second one was Florida on the money line, which they actually covered. Florida over 2.5 goals per team, and that went in the first period. And then a Matthew Tkachuk assist. And that ended up going in the third period. That ended up going as well. The third one and the last one was Utah on the puck line, the -1.5, and a Barrett Hayton assist. And that ended up already going. So tonight, so far, and I hope it's not ends up holding, because that means the Hawks will lose. But if it does hold and Utah ends up winning by more than 2 goals, Toast Takes will end up going 3 for 3 tonight.
That's fantastic. Jump in, Toast Takes. If you want to follow Toast Takes, check out my boy Brian Clark, Toast at Toast Clark on the X Twitter machine. He'll put his plays on there. We also give them out each week on the show. Our normal time is Tuesday nights, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central time for Around the Ice. A little special edition of the live show tonight here on what are we calling this, Toast? We're calling the Nest.
This is the Hawks Nest.
The Hawks Nest. We're on the Hawks Nest, all out back here. We're braving the weather, which is fantastic. So we got a little
cold, man. Really cold.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's actually nice. It feels like hockey season. I love
it does. Yeah, I like it. Oh, nice.
So we're ready to go. Hockey season is underway. We got ourselves 5 games tomorrow. Wednesday, it starts really cranking up through the rest of the week. Toast, John, I love hockey season, man. I'm glad it's here.
Absolutely. I love that we had this. The feel of opening day hockey right now is absolutely wonderful. It's even though it's middle of football season, it just to watch these teams. Oh shit! There was a nice shot and right in the center between circles, and he just swung and missed. Just a whiff on the puck on that one. But watching hockey again, watching things unfold, seeing the teams break out. The white uniforms. The Blackhawks look so good in these white uniforms with the white sweaters with the Indian. Man, there's nothing like these old Blackhawks uniforms. They're never going to change. The original 6 teams. This is I absolutely love this. Even though there's new blood coming in the NHL, things change. This one thing will never change is the Blackhawks sweaters. I remember when Dennis Savard had said, respect the Indian, or what was his line? Shit. It was something.
I can't remember, but yeah, I mean, the Blackhawks have like the most classic jersey in the NHL. I mean, they're fantastic. The Native American tribe from Northern Illinois, Chief Blackhawk. They're the best. They're the best. I hope they never change. They're
Who does have
fantastic.
Do you think the Blackhawks have the best uniforms? I mean, you got to look at the original, especially the original teams. I love the Montreal Canadiens uniforms. The Toronto Maple Leafs have. I mean, that's iconic. Also, just the Maple Leaf, the Detroit Red Wings with the wings and the tire on there. Those are great uniforms too. I know we're used to them, and it's kind of like they're in your head. You've seen them so many times, so they're kind of your favorites. But even Boston's uniform, their iconic circle with the B in the middle and that. which one of your original 6 teams do you think is your favorite? Favorite.
We're gonna do top 5 favorite unis. Here we go. We're gonna go Toast first. I'm gonna go back to John. John, you look yours up, and then we'll go back to me. Let's go top. You want to go top 5 or top 10?
5.
All right, let's go top 5 unis in the NHL. Toast, I know yours number 1, but go ahead. Let's kick it off. Top 5 unis in the NHL.
So can we go ahead and just go like 5 and then 4, like maybe just go down? And, hey, yes,
we'll
exactly.
go down the line. We'll go to the line. I like it.
Okay, so I'm gonna say though, it's no surprise that the fact that the original 6 is gonna like eat up a lot of this, right? Because
As
they're
classic,
simple.
classic,
Yeah.
classic.
But not only they're classic, they're just damn solid. They're really, really good. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with number 5 though, a non-original 6. The Edmonton Oilers with the oil. That's pretty awesome. Their whites are my favorite, but when they actually wear the retro with the like black and then like have I don't know if you've actually seen those or not, but they'll actually wear the all black unis and actually with the orange like inlay there. Those are sweet as hell. But the Oilers, for me, that's a great emblem. That's my number 5.
I call them, they look like the NFL like blackout jerseys, like where they wear the dark all blue with the orange with no like outline. Those are sweet. I love those unis for the Oilers.
Yep.
This is gonna be tough
What do
for
you
me. Going back 5-1. Ooh, this is a toughie.
Let's put it this way, JT. You don't have to like rank them 1 through 5. Just your top 5. Okay.
Okay. We don't. We have to go 1 through 5. That makes it a little easier because you're like putting the pressure on me.
Because it's tough.
1 through 5.
Yeah.
I think, and this as a Red Wings fan, it pains me to say this, but I feel like you got to give them respect. Colorado Avalanche. I think they are just phenomenal jerseys. I love the name. That's why I like the Utah Yeti. It feels like the Avalanche. You know what I'm saying? It feels like it fits that team. It fits that area. I love Colorado's jerseys. I think they've got some really cool jerseys. Even though I'm a Wings fan and they're like bitter rivals, I think Colorado has legit jerseys. Yeah, what's up with you?
I'll tell you what. I'd spoken before about new teams joining the leagues and how they might not be great, but Vegas Knights is I love the uniform. I was in Vegas when they were in the Stanley Cup when their first year. Everything the Statue of Liberty had the Vegas Knights, and the Paris had the Vegas Knights. The puck with their symbol on there. Everything in Vegas was all Vegas Knights. It was super cool to see that. I think maybe just walking around Vegas and seeing the Knights everywhere kind of did something for me. There's a lot of cool uniforms. I love the Islanders. I love the Rangers. There's so many cool uniforms in the NHL.
Yeah,
I want to say I'm going to take Vegas Knights here just because it's such to have a new cool uniform kind of pumped in the system here. I'm going to go with that.
I love that.
Yeah, Mike jumps in here and says Nordique's better than the Avs jerseys.
Yeah.
Close.
The Nordiques are pretty awesome.
The Nordique's jerseys are pretty legit, dude.
Let's get serious. So the Hartford Whales is probably the best jersey.
Yes.
You gotta love the whale. The Hartford Whale is great. Coming back to me, and I'm gonna pull this up because Mike said it. Flyers orange Eric Lindros 88 jersey was the shit. If you had an 88 Flyers Lindros jersey, I don't care who you were, even if your friends didn't like hockey, they're like, oh, that's a badass jersey.
Yeah.
Like Lindros was the man in the 90s. That was a badass jersey. I have an orange Flyers jersey.
He played too hard.
It just
Lindros played too hard. Yeah.
That's a cool jersey. Mike, I'm going to agree with you. I'm throwing that in my top 5. I think the Flyers orange Lindros jersey, just the orange jersey in general. You know what I also love about it? The white block name on the back with the black name inside of the white block.
Yep.
So cool. It's so different. but it makes it stand out. It's so cool.
Hey, JT,
The little things, man.
I got to
the little
unmute myself
things.
with that. That is Broad Street Bullies right in your face. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna have a block name, and it's gonna be bold, and it's gonna be in your face, and I'll kick your ass. I mean, that's exactly what it is. So it's fitting. It's a reason why Boston's the only one that actually, or I'm sorry, Philly's the only one that actually does that type of thing, right? So love it.
And Toast, I know you got. Sorry, I was pulling up another one. I know you got one of these jerseys. Talk about this.
Oh, you mean like a Doug Glatt jersey? Yeah, Hound or is it Hound or Halifax Highlander? I don't know. Anyway, my Doug Glatt jersey is number 69. It's awesome. It's
If
great,
you've never
great
seen the
color.
Goon, right? You got to. If
I
you've
have.
not seen the movie, but you're telling
Halifax
people.
Highlanders. Yes.
You're telling people if you've not seen the movie Goon, and you're a hockey fan,
man.
you are missing out at life. It is phenomenal. Goon 1 and 2, absolutely awesome movies about an enforcer in hockey. It's great.
JT, you kind of throw me off because I was expecting you to actually say, "What's your next NHL jersey?" and you throw that at me. But you're right. I mean, my gosh, the Halifax Highlanders and number 69 Doug Glatt is amazing. If you haven't seen Goon and Goon 2, stop what you're doing now. I will tell you today, just to get kind of fired up for hockey, I watched Youngblood with everybody's actually seen. Have you seen Youngblood, JT?
It's been a minute, but I have.
Patrick Swayze was in
yeah.
for that. Man, great movie. I watched that earlier today. Miracle, I love Miracle. Miracle's awesome. And Goon, and also too, what's a documentary that we've actually all watched about the Danbury Trashers?
Oh yeah, that one's on
Netflix. I mean, if you can watch all of those.
Oh yeah.
amazing.
So if you've never looked, I gotta think of what its series is called. It's
I think it's I'll find it out right now.
Look up Danbury Trashers.
I got it.
Look up Danbury Trashers. It is a crazy story about how a mob boss actually bought his son, his 19-year-old son, an actual minor league hockey team. It's crazy. It is awesome. It's probably one of my favorite documentaries I've ever seen. The whole town loved this team. Everybody loved it. He ended up getting busted and going to prison, and they shut the team down. But like, it brought a ton of joy to this small town, and they loved it. It's America, man. It's so America. It's
you know
so
what?
great.
That's what I like about America. So untold crimes and penalties. But yeah,
part of the Untold series. So there's an Untold
there's
series.
a lot of Untold. Yes.
Netflix does an Untold series. It's really good. If you've never watched it, they do a ton of different sports related documentaries. But the Bad Boys, the Trashers was just phenomenal. If you haven't seen it,
Yep.
Mike knows what we're talking about. He's like Thrashers, absolutely. He knows what we're talking about.
So JT, let's go ahead and maybe go through some more yearly totals.
All right, we're gonna do that. We gotta finish our jerseys out real quick. We didn't finish our top jerseys, man. We got off track. We got off track. We gotta finish our top jerseys.
All right,
so
let's
we
go.
did. Hey, just to knock it out fast, Toast. Give me your next three jerseys. No, give me your next three. Give me your next three.
Detroit. Yes. I mean, come on. I mean, that's easy. I like Detroit. I hate the Blues. All right. Let's just put that out there. I hate the Blues. So I end up having Chicago. I have Detroit. I will say Tampa Bay with the lightning bolt is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Love the colors.
You had Edmonton in your mix there.
Edmonton was in there for sure. And I love Vegas. Here's the deal. Vegas will actually wear the Notre Dame like helmets every once in a while. And LA Kings will actually do that as well.
Where they wear the silver ones look like silver. They're pretty awesome.
Yep, they'll actually paint the helmets, and it's legit. It's pretty cool. It looks ridiculous on TV, but I like that. I like that a lot. So,
but it's really cool in real life. It the camera hits off. It's weird sometimes, but it looks so awesome in real life.
Yeah, metallic gold. It's absolutely great for those. The new Notre Dame jerseys, those ones, the metallic gold it's absolutely beautiful.
Yep, and I've always liked Colorado. So I mean, whatever I ended up wearing, I would say the old Nordiques throwbacks are fine, but nevertheless, Colorado is pretty awesome. So that's my top 5.
All right, for me, I gotta go. I love Red Wings. I love the old school. It's classic. The Blackhawks are just phenomenal. I hope they never touch it. Any part of it. Don't ever do anything different. The only thing I like that they've done different, I love the black jersey. I think the black jersey is badass, but they don't change anything else. Colorado, I love. I think Colorado is just so cool. You were on Edmonton, which I do like the Edmonton jersey. I like the dark blue with the all orange is one of my favorites. But then if I look at the other side, I'm like, Toronto, so classic. I love that Toronto jersey. It's so cool. It's something I don't love the colors. I don't love everything about it. That New Jersey Devil. I love the Leafs and the Devils. I think the Devils with that NJ with the J as the devil horn and the tail is cool. But I tell you what, no one's taken over for them. It's since Buffalo went back to the old jerseys.
Yeah. Yep.
The yellow and the blue Buffalo with the swords underneath.
I like that.
That one jumped back on top of me. The other jerseys were okay, but I love the old school ones. So those ones are back on top. John, finish up your top 5.
Hey, John, real quick though. Sorry, I gotta make sure I'm actually not off mute. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I'm off mute. If Utah was to go to Yeti, they got to be in the top 5, right? I mean, that Yeti uniform is pretty damn sweet, man.
I'd say it's pretty cool, but I wouldn't say top 5. There's some iconic uniforms in the NHL. And just before I give my top 5, what I want to do here is go through some of the defunct NHL franchise that started. So I'm going to spend 1 minute. Montreal Wanderers, okay, that was a team they're never again. That was 1917. The Quebec Bulldogs, 1919, became the Hamilton Tigers. They're no longer a franchise anymore either. The Hamilton Tigers, they're defunct. They went to last till 1925, defunct. The Pittsburgh Pirates are a hockey team. They become the Philadelphia Quakers, and that was it. The Quakers lasted until 1931.
Are Quakers allowed to play hockey?
I don't know.
I don't know what the rule is on that. I don't know.
Hey, did they say we are family?
I don't know what they said, but they said goodbye. They're gone. So the Ottawa Senators were a team until 1934. They became the St. Louis Eagles. The Eagles were around one more year. A lot of these teams came and went and then changed, and then for one more year, they became the St. Louis Eagles, and then they become defunct. The Montreal Maroons, that's a great team. They were defunct. Oh, they got their uniforms there, too, just an M. The Brooklyn Americans. Why wasn't that team still around? That's awesome. They went on until 1942, then they became defunct. The California Golden Seals became the Cleveland Barons, and they were all the way to 1976, and they're no longer a team. Kansas City Souls became the Colorado Rockies. The Cleveland Barons, defunct, merged with the Minnesota Stars. Minnesota Stars, I'm so pissed at the Dallas Stars now because the Minnesota North Stars they were a great uniform, and they moved to Dallas, became the Dallas Stars. Change your whole fucking uniform. Don't just steal half the shit and change it. I love the Minnesota.
John, I told you, I totally agree. If the Minnesota was still the Minnesota North Stars, that's a top 5 jersey.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a top 5 jersey. If it's still the Minnesota North Stars, it's a top 5 jersey.
Agree.
The Atlanta Flames became the Calgary Flames. I like the Calgary Flames. Colorado Rockies became or New Jersey Devils in 1982. Minnesota North Stars. Rockies? Yeah, they were Colorado Rockies.
Yeah. How about that?
The Minnesota North Stars became the Dallas Stars. Go fuck yourself, Stars. The Quebec Nordiques became the Colorado Avalanche Nordiques. We talked about that already. They're one of the better uniforms of all time. Winnipeg Jets became the Phoenix Coyotes, which they're gone now. The Hartford Whalers became the Carolina Hurricanes. That was one of my favorites. The Hartford Whalers you can walk around anywhere. You can walk around Disneyland in Florida. You can walk around Great America and in Illinois. You can go out in Ireland. I saw Hartford Whalers hat. I mean, they're everywhere. Hartford Whalers are an iconic team. They're never going to go away.
John, one of my favorite movie quotes from all time is Mallrats when they're playing video games, and he's like, "It's Hartford. It's the whale."
Yeah.
And it's like he just stopped. He's like, "It's Hartford. It's the whale." And you're like,
Yes.
"Yeah, Hartford Whalers. Yeah, dude. Man, missed opportunity that team moving. Hartford the whale, man, they had great movies, man, great years.
Absolutely. Atlanta Thrashers, 1999, they became the Winnipeg Jets in 2011. The Arizona Coyotes suspended hockey assets, transferred to Utah Hockey Club. So that's the history of the NHL as far as the teams that have become defunct. Pretty nice story there. But my top 5, I had already said my Vegas Knights was just kind of a new and upcoming and kind of fresh uniform. I do love the Toronto Maple Leafs. Unfortunately, a lot of my teams are going to be old school teams because I'm so used to seeing them, watching them as a kid growing up. Montreal Canadiens are probably my number 3. I love the Canadian hockey, the Montreal Canadiens symbol. It's one of my favorites. I think a sneaky team that maybe people don't, the Islanders, Fear the Fishermen. I got them in a hockey pool that me and a bunch of my friends play. You throw $100 a person in there and you just root for a different team every year. It's all drafted lottery system. It's super cool. So I got like 2 years in a row Fear the Fishermen. There was a lot of great players on those teams. I'm going to go with that as my, I think, what was that, 5, 4, 3. After that, 2's kind of tough. There's so many good uniforms left in the NHL. Not a big fan of the Hurricanes. I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, the Sabres is kind of iconic, but I'm not a big fan of it. The Avalanche, you guys already mentioned. That's cool. The Dallas Stars, no thank you. I mean, it's probably just – I'm going to say probably the Red Wings and the Blackhawks are the other 2 teams. I just – how do you not like both those uniforms? They're absolutely iconic. They're absolutely fantastic. I'm not a big fan. Like the Seattle Kraken had that. I'm not a fan of their uniforms. That's one new team that I'm not a big fan of it. First time I saw it, I'm like, what the hell is that? I didn't even know it was an NHL team when I first saw the thing. Before they started being an NHL franchise, they let go of the symbol. And I was like, this is garbage. So whatever. The Blackhawks and the Red Wings fill out my top 2.
I have to tell you, the NHL crushed early logos. You think all the computer-generated stuff we have now, all the different stuff you can do online, and what are the best logos? All stuff's been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. All these old school, awesome logos are still badass.
And
you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
I will say, JT, main reason for that is if you look at football, a helmet's only so big, but a jersey's pretty darn big, right? So, I mean, Bears, Packers, you got this iconic, like even Giants. Again, usually with football, it's a plain jersey with a plain color, and then you're looking at me.
Well, NFL, you think about the helmet.
Yeah.
But in hockey,
But
the jersey is the first thing you see. The big logo on the jersey instead of a big number. You see the big logo on the jersey in hockey, which no one else has.
Yep.
That gigantic logo.
Yep. And so in football, you actually have that at midfield, right? I mean, so you actually see it on the field, but on the jersey itself and on the helmet, the game. I don't know. I mean, for hockey, it stands out more for me. I don't know why, but those original 6 franchises, man, they really nail it. They really do. John actually mentioned Canadians. When Toronto actually wears the reverse and they actually have the logo for the maple leaf, but it actually has a black outline, and actually you've seen those are really sweet. But I'm glad that the Hawks actually have never turned. They've never actually changed their logo.
Toronto's blue jerseys with the white leaf are actually fantastic jerseys. Yes.
I actually was kind of a fan of, I like alternate jerseys. I'm like a fan. I want a little bit of something different all the time. I actually thought the black Toronto jerseys last year, when they went all black with the blue with the white, like little bit kickoff on them, I thought those things were badass.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought they were awesome. So I was a big fan of those last year. Like I said, I love the white and and red Blackhawks jerseys, but man, when they break out that black, something about it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of
It's
cool when they
awesome.
break out that black jersey, but they also don't change the logo. They don't do anything different, which I kind of like. So it just depends. We had one earlier and I totally missed it on the comments. I was going to pull it up. I was talking about San Jose Sharks. San Jose Sharks, the most 90s jersey of all time.
Yeah. Yep.
Just that teal and black.
I love it.
And like the Hornets were awesome and everybody loved that. One of my best friends from college was from San Jose, big Sharks fan. Like, still a cool logo. That shark just biting the hockey stick in half is like a cool ass logo.
That is awesome.
And if they weren't so bad, you would like that logo more. But I always think San Jose stuff is really cool as well. Look at the comment.
Hey, hey, JT,
is God Jesus? I don't know if he's Jesus, but he's here hanging out, and you're missing out if you're not here. So I really appreciate it, Mike.
Can we do something right now? I think we can. So I put something in the show notes early on, and I put a link in there. But you may have actually asked me, like, what's one of your biggest hockey memories of your lifetime? And I was wondering, can we actually play that on our feed? If that's all right, go ahead and talk up.
Let me try. Let me see what I can. Hey, Toast, you give us the intro. Let me see if I can figure out how to work some magic here.
So the Hawks actually won back in 2010, and Kane didn't actually know let me back up. Kane knew he actually put the puck in the back of the net in Philadelphia in Game 6. Nobody else did, but a goal scorer like Kane knew it and actually was there. And we won in 2010. The Hawks did. And 2015 was our third cup, and it was actually capped off by Kane actually, or Duncan Keith actually feeding Kane, I actually believe. And we end up winning 2-0 to actually seal the deal in a Game 6 versus Tampa Bay. But in 2013 was the granddaddy of them all. In fact, I would say it was the best hockey experience of my entire life. In a Game 6 at Boston, the Hawks are actually down 2-1 with about a minute 45 or a minute 50 left, and all hell breaks loose. And they end up winning the Stanley Cup right at Boston. And JT, I'm going to mention this here, and this may not be like a greatest memory for you, but nevertheless, I remember where I was in Game 6, 2013. I was at JT's, and you got married. So you got married.
I don't remember because that was
you got married, and we were at your party at JT Walker's downstairs, and Game 6 was going on, and that's exactly what happened. But can you bring that video up by chance?
I'm trying. I think we're getting blocked on it. I'm trying.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys what happened. Is Brian Bickle actually scored a goal with maybe like, I don't know, a minute 20 left in the game to make it 2-2. Boston was all but actually just sealing it up, actually going to a Game 7. And it goes to a Game 7. They got Tuukka Rask. It's going to be pretty tough. But Game 6, we scored that goal. And then 17 seconds later, 17 seconds, guys, Dave Bolin. And what does Dave Bolin actually do when he actually scores the goal? He throws his gloves off. Throws his gloves off on the ice. The Hawks actually go up 2-1, come out of nowhere with our second cup in 3 years at that point, and go on to actually have 3 cups in 6 years. A dynasty, which I don't know if it'll ever be done again. I don't know if there's going to be dynasties anymore, right? But that 2013, that was a shortened season too. I guess like with a strike or whatever, the Hawks started off, if I remember right, if you guys actually correct me if I'm wrong, we started off like 21 0-2 or something like that. We started off the season that year 23 straight games with a point, and actually 21 of them with a win. That still may be a record. So anyway, John, go ahead.
I got a buddy of mine who's was a bookie, and he took a beating because if you bet the Blackhawks every game that season, you made money the entire season. My buddy, all my buddies, especially the one guy who was bookie, he took all the Blackhawks bets, and people just kept rolling. And man, the Blackhawks cooked the books that entire season. Man, it was absolutely wild. It's all you had to do was bet the Blackhawks, and you win. You made money the entire season. It was crazy. But as far as hockey memories are concerned, I think in my childhood, watching the Edmonton Oilers break apart was probably the most saddest thing I've ever seen in any sport, because watching Wayne Gretzky cry and when he left that team, when he knew he didn't want to, his heart and soul was poured into Edmonton. And then watching that whole because that team was full of absolute superstar studs. And you looked across that team, you had Messier, Coffey. I mean, the team was absolutely awesome. And watch that. It was like if you were a Bulls fan and when they went on and just watching the whole thing kind of fall apart, it was almost like that because they were an absolute dynasty. They could have been something for a long time. And then Gretzky knew that he was ruining it. That's the worst part about it. He knew that he was the pin that held that whole team together too. They were never the same when he left. The whole team kind of broke apart. But that was in my childhood to watch the first time I ever saw something get ripped apart like that. It was something special. That was probably my biggest memory of hockey.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about some more bets?
Sure.
Hey,
we got more time. I mean, here's the deal. We got 15 minutes left in this game. We can at least go 5 more minutes.
Yeah, let's talk about some. There's a lot of Blackhawks bets for us, but you want to talk about words? You want to talk about words?
Sure.
Let's jump in.
Let's go year-long awards. Yes.
There you go. Let's do it. So we got Hart Trophy. This is Connor McDavid's to lose. We all know that. He's plus 150. McKinnon's plus 500. Austin Matthews plus 850. Jack Hughes plus 1100. Nikita Kucherov plus 1800. Leon Draisaitl plus 2000.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who was that? Sorry. Hey, pause it. Hey, Hawks are in. Let's go.
3-2.
Oh. Hey, Vlasic, the second year defenseman, man.
Tells you trying to kill my 1.5 here. What's going on?
Yeah, you know what? If Toast takes it, we don't have to go perfect. I mean, I don't have to go perfect every night. So hey, sorry.
It's all right. I just need an empty netter here. I need an empty netter at the end of the game from Utah.
That was the old captain Nick Foligno, Vlasic, and Connor Bedard with his second assist. Second assist, Bedard before this game was plus 700 for 2 assists. So, and here we are.
And you didn't put on that.
The Hawks were dead in the water. They were dead in the water in this game. Here we are. 3-2. We have a ball game.
It was 3-0. It was 3-0. We're back in this thing with 14:50 left. I was trying to decide, should we shut it down or should we keep going?
No. Hey, we're gonna keep going. So hey, JT, ask me again. What do we have going on here, buddy?
We're gonna jump on some trophies to see what you guys want for the bettors.
Oh, you asked me about McDavid.
So we got Connor McDavid at plus 150, McKinnon at plus 500, which I kind of like at the Hart Trophy winner at that kind of odds for the easily second best player in the league. Matthews plus 850, Jack Hughes plus 1100, Kucherov 1800, Draisaitl plus 2000. This feels like you're snaking whatever you take here, but
I think it's a McDavid.
And plus 150, I feel like it's a win. But am I going to put a season-long bet at plus 150?
Yeah, I think you are. I mean,
all right.
So here's the deal. I'm going to tell you, any point in time, McDavid has never shown the ability to actually be injured. He was injured his rookie season for maybe. Oh, I tell you what, the Hawks are really we're coming on now. But he was injured his rookie season. But besides that, he's never really been hurt. He's the best player in the game by far. It's not even close. On a very, very good team. So plus 150, if you think about it, that's the best bet. That is the best bet. You should actually go heavy there, and actually just not look back. That's my thought.
I think you're right. I think McKinnon's the other bet here, plus 500. I think Colorado's going to be in the mix. If they're one of the top teams, is going to push him up. And guess who's back? Hey, guess who's back?
We got Corey. We got Jensen.
Again, Corey Jensen says, there we go. And we got our
Hawks.
buddy Mike says, Hawks money line, good now. He was on.
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Hey, Mike. Did you do it? Did you do it, Mike?
If you did it, you got to show us those receipts. If
Yeah,
it hits,
right.
you got to show us those receipts. That's good. All right, let's jump on the next one here. Season-long Hart Trophy. The Hart Trophy is like a joke right now. It's plus 150 Connor McDavid or the field.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, they're just not giving you anything. I think that's how bad it is. Rocket Richard Trophy. John, this is your boy Austin Matthews leading the way at minus.
Let me guess. Oh, I was getting ready to say. Okay, go ahead.
Guess. Hey, Toast. I want you to guess who's second or third.
Oh, so I would say that
most goals. Austin Matthews number one. Who's second or third?
Ooh. Reinhardt can't be up there because he shot 25% last year. And nobody thinks he's going to repeat that.
Nobody knows his name. He can't be that high in bets.
All right, who's second, JT?
Second, as I mute myself. Sorry, second is David Pastrnak plus 550. Leon Draisaitl plus 750, which you remember I had him plus 700 2 or 3 years ago, Toast, and he was right up to the top of the league most of the year, and he finished second. So that one hurt. Kaprizov at plus 750 is a little surprising to me. And then McDavid, Forsberg, McKinnon at plus 1,000, plus 1,200, plus 1,500 for McKinnon. A lot of these guys score points. Do they score enough goals? That makes it tough. This kind of feels like, I mean, you look at it. Austin Matthews minus 115 is like, okay. Like, they're damn near giving it to him at this point.
It makes sense for him to actually have it. So McKinnon's not actually going to get it. This is an easy one. This is Matthews all day long. It's not close. Put it this way, I'm not actually putting money on it unless I have a lot. Unless I have a lot of money in my pocket.
That would be a toughie. I mean, Pasta would have to go off, and Leon Draisaitl
which he has,
would just have to be crazy.
But no, this is his.
Art Ross Trophy. Connor McDavid minus 160. Nathan McKinnon plus 500. Kucherov plus 500. Pasta 1,500. Leon Draisaitl 1,500. Artemi Panarin plus 2,000. The Art Ross Trophy.
The Red Man.
So he's been injured early in the season, but that doesn't mean anything. So you got to go McDavid. You do. JT, let's go ahead and switch over gears here for a sec and just watch this game for a little bit because we are in crunch time and it's starting to get interesting.
Yeah, two teams really fighting it out right now. The Blackhawks are turning it up a notch. They're starting to get a little feisty.
They've outplayed. Oh, look! He tried it. He tried it, Michigan. He tried it, Michigan.
Bedard tried to go around the back of the goal.
He tried
pick it up and throw it over the shoulder, and he almost had it. Yeah. Mike is over here like, I told you guys, Blackhawks money line.
Yeah, good. So Bedard did it last year. He did it Michigan last year.
You know what? If the defender didn't get in his way and it hit the defender in the shoulder, it probably would have scored. That was wild.
So again, people don't realize how like Bedard 61 points in 68 games last year And that's a historic bad team he was on. I mean, they were built to lose. Awful, awful team. He's an 18-year-old last year. It's unbelievable exactly what he did last year. So this year, 90 points is all but a given. Set aside health.
Yeah, Corey says plus 50 or less is a boring ass futures bet. He agrees with me. I'm just not taking a futures bet at that. I'm just not.
Yeah,
that's just not me.
That's a penalty.
If we can win, I'm going to wait and take that later in the year. I'm not going to take a futures bet at minus 135 or 115 early in the year. So, Corey, I agree with you. If I'm going to take that bet, I'm just going to wait till later in the season to take it. I'm not going to take it right at the beginning of the year for that kind of money. The only time I'm going to bet that is I'm taking a big plus shot.
Oh! Mikheyev almost had a goal there.
Mike says, Bedard about to win this. We'll see. Here for me, I would love to see Blackhawks do something here. If not, I need Utah. I need Utah just a little empty netter or something late here to pop my bet. So take a look at a couple of these bets, see where we're at. Toast has been on fire so far. If you have not listened yet, take Toast Takes. Follow him at Toast Clark on the X or Twitter. He's been on absolute fire today on the Toast Takes. He is tearing it up. I'm checking out. I need Bertuzzi with a shot, and I need Utah minus 1.5 here to get this thing done. So we're looking to see where we're at here. I need Bertuzzi one more shot. I'm checking the stats. Right now we're at 2 shots for Bertuzzi, so that counts. So I'm basically a Utah goal away from putting this thing away. I tell you what, if you're a Blackhawks fan, this is what you want to see, though. You want to see the Blackhawks fighting it out, down 3-0. They fought their way back to 3-2, and they're playing. They're playing tough.
I can't believe the Blackhawks right now. They're like a half second behind almost everything. The passes are there. They're just not in the right position when the passes get there. They're shooting a little bit off. Even their one-timers aren't really close. Somebody's a half second away on a one-timer is a lifelong. I mean, it's a lifetime. You're not in the right spot. The whole play is just gone. You can see plays. You could almost envision what play was called on that play, on these setups, on these one-timers, on these passes. You can see that somebody's not in the right position right now. The plays are there. You can see things are developing. The players are open. This is something that's only going to get better with time, but it's nice to see that they're in position to score. Just not scoring right now. That'll come in time. It's the first game of the season. You expected kind of a sloppy game, but it's a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, you understand what's going on here because a lot of hope. There's a commercial on TV right now, so there's nothing going on. But at the same time, it's been nice to watch this third period. What's the shots on goal for this third period right now? Because I'm going to look it up right now. I know before the Hawks were – here we go. So shots on goal in the third period. It says 1-0 Blackhawks, but I
tell you, Mike is jumping on board. He jumped on Connor Bedard 2+ points, looking phenomenal. I think he hit that already, and he's got Blackhawks 2 + 2.5 points, 2.5 goals. So we're looking. Our friend Mike Soto dominating. Good work, sir. I like it. He's got Connor Bedard 4+ shots. I think he's at 3 right now. Gosh, Mike, I really hope you hit all these, dude. I'm not even joking to you. Bedard's got 3. He needs one more. He's got 2 points, so that's a hit, Mike. Nice work, sir.
Hey, good job, Mike.
And he's got 2.5 goals, which I love because Utah can score one more goal and win 4-2, and we both cover. That's a table win. Let's do that thing. Let's go, Mike. Let's do this thing.
Gary Bettman's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Hey,
Son of a
everybody loves him. Yeah.
We don't hold back here on Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames. We tell it like it is. John McGlynn does not like Gary Bettman, as most people do not. We got ourselves a hell of a game here, though. 3-2. Utah Yeti. I will call them that because I just don't
Yes,
care.
I like that. The Yeti.
Utah Yeti got 3-0. The Blackhawks have fought their way back. If you're a Blackhawks fan, you love to see it. We have two guys down in the middle of the ice. They got to blow that dead, right? There's two guys that looked like they were like down seriously. Okay,
Nope.
they got up. So we're still playing here.
Next man up. Yeah.
8:30 left. 3-2. Utah on top of Chicago. We got a breakaway shot. Missed. Wide side out.
I'm gonna stand, guys.
3-2. Toast is getting fired up. He's got to stand here. He's like, I got to get a little move on here. We got a little action. Here we go.
That seat was killing my ass in my leg, so I had to say it myself.
Well, hey, there's no padding.
I mean, I got a lot of I got a round butt. It's kind of like round like a frying pan, not like a anything good or nothing.
So hey, I'm gonna go ahead and remind everybody here that I did have Kurashev on my last goal here for that $1.50 for $415.
Oh, is that what we're waiting on? And we're waiting on the Kirchhoff Gill? Oh,
yeah. So I mean, hey, here's the deal. I mean, number 23 for the Hawks. 23 is a very popular Chicago number. Okay, so
never heard of it. Never.
So my childhood hero, Ryan Sandberg, number 23. This is getting good. This is awesome.
We get ourselves a ball game here, folks. Yeah, we got ourselves a little contest here. We knew that Utah was going to come out on fire, lit up, first game ever as a franchise in Utah. And you know what? Blackhawks are fighting back. They're fighting back. This is what you gotta love to see out of the Blackhawks. Young team, not a ton of talent, but just staying in it, just fighting. Utah wins the faceoff. They're working the puck in the zone. Working it back out front, passing it around. Trying to get in front. Oh,
all right, let's go.
Sold by the Blackhawks. Here we go, working it back the other way. We're in the offensive zone for the Blackhawks.
Yes, good check.
Forward check, trying to keep it in the zone.
Oh no!
Utah moves it out. Now we got a 2-on-2.
All right.
Stolen here, and we keep it moving. What do you see? Hey, what do the Blackhawks need to do here, Toast?
They're doing a great job actually forward checking here and actually taking control of the puck. Honestly, Utah has the numbers, but look at yes, get in! Oh,
almost a goal by the Blackhawks. So close.
I'm gonna act a little stupid here, guys. That's fine. Just accept it. All right. But the Hawks are actually, they want it right now. I like the energy from the Blackhawks. Yeah. Anyway.
Move the puck down the ice. Blackhawks trying to get it back in control. Kicking it back out of the zone. Now Utah back in control. 6 minutes left in this one. 3-2. Utah on top of Chicago. Chicago went from down 3-0.
Yeah, very good. Got Terravini, got Bedard there. Yep. Oh, nice check. Kept it in. Go get it.
Mike says Hawks money line. I'm like, if you haven't bet on my Hawks money line already, it might be the time.
The Hawks are actually controlling the play here.
Corey says Tush are about 20 seconds delayed, so he's laughing at all your reactions to what's happening, which is totally understandable. Just keep it rolling.
The Hawks just seem to be, anytime they get the puck, they're just kind of they're forcing the puck up down the ice faster than they should instead of just taking their time and developing a play. I wish they would just kind of take their time. See, they're playing a little frustrated now too. You see the players on the bench right now, kind of questioning some of the decisions they're making, some of the positions they're in, where the puck's at. They need to slow it down a little bit. I think this is a sign of a young team just trying to do too much. It seems like the game's a little too fast for them today on the opening day, which is to be expected. But they need to slow it down a little bit, manufacture a play, put people in the right positions instead of just trying to rush plays. That'll come in time, but today it's a little bit frustrating as far as for me watching this game.
Yep.
So you're a little surprised the Blackhawks didn't just make it official and make Connor Bedard captain this year? I know he's a young guy. I understand that you got to earn it in the NHL. But was it a little shock? It was a little shocking to me.
No.
They didn't give him the C.
No, I'm not shocked because here's the deal. Jonathan Toews, when he ended up getting a C in Chicago, I think he was 20 years old. But you have to look and see who they actually had in that core when they actually gave him the C. And they had Keith. They had Seabrook. They had Sharp at that time. They were getting Hossa. They're Kane. So they had a core around him and good audience around him as well. But with Bedard, they don't really have that yet. It's not going to really come together like it was actually going to come together for the Hawks back then. So Nick Foligno was the obvious choice to take the captain seat. Now Bedard should have the A, and I don't know if he actually has the A or not. Look at his jersey. I don't know. He should actually have the A, but don't worry, Bedard. He's a captain in waiting. I would say next year or the year after, because I think it's this year and next year for Foligno, and after that it's Bedard's team. So it's his team now, but he's so young. He was 18 last
I was
year.
wondering.
He was 18
I know
last
it's
year.
crazy because he's so young, but I was wondering because it reminded me of Steve Yzerman for the Red Wings when Yzerman came on and they were actually down. That's when the Red Wings were not good, and he took over as the captain. I think he was 19, 20 maybe, and then
Toews
took it over.
Toews was 20.
Yeah. And I just thought that was a little surprising. I understand you want to make those guys earn it, but obviously after you saw what Bedard did last year, I mean, he was fantastic. 4.5 left here, 3-2.
Yeah,
I'm loving to see the fight of the Blackhawks. It's gonna kill my -1.5.
But you just wish the Hawks didn't start off so damn slow. Like when the puck drops, let them know who you are. I don't care who you actually have on a roster. Hit them in the mouth. They're going to come out. They actually have their building opening up. This franchise that I actually knew, they're going to bring all this energy. You got to come out and actually hit them in the mouth. They did not do that. But since the midway point, they've done that. They've actually controlled this game. They've been a better team. And it's not even been close. So,
coming out of the locker room into the second period, they look like a whole different team than they did the first period for sure.
Absolutely.
I just wish they'd stop dumping the puck and just say develop a play here. That's the only thing I'd like to see. I'm just so sick of them just throwing the puck away every time they get possession.
Corey says, if the power play did anything in the second period, this would be a totally different game. It was pathetic. That is true. Blackhawks did not look good at the power play in the second period. They've turned it on here in the third and made it a ball game after they were getting worked early on. .345 left in this one. Third period. Utah Yeti. Oh, we got a turnover in the zone. Blackhawks trying to make something happen here. Pass out top, setting up the offense.
Oh,
moving it around, see if they can get a shot off here.
Nice. Yeah, dump it in.
Trying to get inside behind the net now. Working it back
Utah's
out.
on their heels right now. Utah's on their heels.
Slap shot out top. Oh, deflection did not go in. Blackhawks retain possession. Another slap shot. Oh, and a save by Utah.
That's what the Hawks are doing right now.
I was just about to say,
Bedard.
why isn't there somebody in front of the net like a Dustin Bufflin back in the day, just sitting there picking up rebounds? There was nobody anywhere near the goalie that entire time. I don't understand. Get someone in there to screen the goalie.
Like Dustin Bufflin reference. I love that.
To screen the goalie, to get the rebounds, to get the putbacks right in front of the net. They keep jamming the goalie. I don't understand why is there nobody in front of the goalie minus somebody at the last second. Somebody I don't know who it was. Somebody just was there for the last shot, but there should have been there to someone there should have been someone there the whole time.
Down to 3 minutes left in this game. Final game of the night. NHL opening night here on Fantasy and Frames. 3-2 Utah beating the Blackhawks. Trying to get a last-minute run. Blackhawks with a puck. Shot on goal. Just missed it to the right side and cleared out of the zone by Utah.
Love the Hawks pressure right now.
Big time, 12 shots to 9 here in the third period. Hawks are bringing it. Huge check against the glass. Ends up in a turnover and a shot. Almost had a huge
Good
shot again. Good save, Mrazek. And now the Blackhawks coming back on offense there. 2 minutes left.
Possession.
Buck behind the net, trying to swing it around, trying to get it out top, trying to center it, knocked away. Now back behind the net again. Trying to get it back out front, on top of the ice, near the blue line. Got stolen, shot down. Just missed the empty netter. 3-2, and it's an icing. Almost had the empty netter, which would have hit my bet. I'll take the loss on this one if I have to. But empty netter, now we got ourselves a face-off. I just need a Utah win by 2 goals.
Okay.
That's all I need. I've got my shots. I got my points. I'm sitting on, so I need an empty netter here by Utah. I'd love to see the Blackhawks keep this one tight. It's been a nice game, but I just need an empty netter here to get it going. Mike's all over the money line here. Good luck, Mike. I hope they score this and send it to OT.
Here we go.
That'd be phenomenal. So off the face-off, Blackhawks win. They're moving around the ice. Man, falls down, loses the puck.
Jeez,
he just absolutely fell, and now was loose in the corner. Blackhawks get it back.
We got it back. No.
Setting it up. Puck is loose. Shot. No good. 1:08 left.
I haven't been as intense as the playoffs. Man.
Bucks have it up that. Blackhawks. Shots wide. I need a Blackhawks goal here to tie it, or I need a goal to finish it off for me. I need an empty netter. And we got one. There we go. The empty netter from Utah. Late goal. Who gets it? Let's see what ends up being.
41 seconds left in the game.
I'll take the hit on the win. That's the same game parlay hit for me. Gunther again. Gunther getting another one. 4-2. But hey, that's a tough loss. But what a battle!
You know what?
The Blackhawks were in this one the whole way. Tough outing out here for the Hawks. 4-2 loss. 41 seconds left, but man, they fought back hard. Big win. Toast, you just missed the gigantic goal parlay by 1. I hit my same game parlay, which was nice. Mike, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, brother. Just missed
let's talk about
Blackhawks
this,
money
though.
line.
So, yes, I missed my lotto, but if you look at Toast Takes, 3 for 3.
Crush it on the Toast Takes, which is a good reminder. Follow Toast on Toast at Toast Clark on X or the Twitter. He will put out his Toast Takes every week. We throw out our favorite bets of the week on Around the Ice every Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central on Fantasy in Frame. So make sure to check us out all hockey season. And we're back, boys. We're back. It's hockey season. We want to thank our boy John McGlynn. John, thanks for hanging out with us, jumping in with us. We appreciate it. Johnny making it down from Chicago to hang with us. Can't beat it. Another late goal here from Utah to just pile it on.
That's
at
fine.
the end of the game. Nice fight from the Blackhawks there. Killed Mike's plus 2.5. Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. He says RIP the 2.5. I didn't know you had the 2.5. That one does hurt, dude. Oh, that's brutal.
What are you doing, Mike?
I've been there a million times, bro. I've been there a million times. Oh, they had the plus 2.5. Didn't hit off that one. Nice job by the Blackhawks to fight through. But hey, we said Utah was going to come out ready to play. First time.
Oh.
Please pick the Yeti as your name. That's all I ask. We want to see the Utah Yeti officially as we're down on that last 20 seconds of this one. John, I'm going to start with you before I throw over Toast. Give me your last face-off, your final thoughts of the night.
I thought the Hawks showed pretty good team chemistry here. I just felt like they're a little bit behind everywhere. That a little bit sloppy. They didn't really develop the play. They didn't work the puck down the ice. They kind of just dumped it in and kind of hope to maintain possession through hustle almost. And I think you can't do that. You just it's gotta be more control. You gotta fall back a little bit. There's a time and a place to kind of throw the puck down the ice, and you can't do it the entire game and expect to score, expect to keep maintaining possession that way. I think they need to slow it down a little bit. They try to. It's like somebody in their first for the first game of the season. They look like they're a little bit off. They didn't have all the plays down pat. So, am I impressed with the first game? I thought they played a hell of a game today. Yes, absolutely. I didn't expect it. I expected like a 5-0, 5-1, something like that, kind of drugging, and to come out. Watch them come out. Whatever they said in the locker room between first and second period, to come out in the second period, it looked like a team that was they had more hustle. They weren't. It's almost like they had the first period. Their eyes were wide open. They were kind of scared to be out there. They didn't know what to expect. And then everything settled down. They had a nice target too. They made the change they needed to make. And I was very impressed with the second and third periods. Those two games, empty netters, those last two empty net goals, it's bullshit. Who cares? It is what it is at that point in time. You got to pull the goalie. If you're trying to win, you got to pull the goalie. You got to try to get anything you possibly can to tie that game. And it backfired. They gave up 2 goals. Who gives a shit? The game was over when they gave up the second goal, the second empty netter. So who cares? But I was impressed. I was a great game to watch tonight. I was super happy. We kept this podcast going the entire game because I was thoroughly impressed with the Blackhawks, especially a young team, to keep it up with a team like this and their opening nights when they're amped up. Very good game.
Corey said, well done tonight, boys. Hope to catch up with you soon. Thanks, Corey. We appreciate you jumping in, leaving comments, Mike, and all the rest of the guys. Thank you for joining us. Everyone who joined in tonight, we really appreciate it. Here on Around the Ice. Toast, final face-off, your last thoughts of the night.
Well, I'll just go ahead and talk about the Hawks a little bit, considering we're here. Even though they lost, let's just say it. Bedard had 2 assists, and that is a true mark of a superstar on your team that can actually carry the team during the bad, and when there's going to be the good. So that was a positive for me tonight. Again, yeah, Bedard, 2 assists, 5 shots on goal, a block, a hit. And you know what? Face-offs, it says 8 and 7. Last year, he was awful on face-offs, as most 18-year-old rookies would be. He was above 500 tonight. So that's pretty awesome. They're only going to go as far as he takes them. You have to have a superstar. We know in this league you have to have a superstar, and he's a superstar. So this is exactly what I expected. Exactly why I actually bet on Toast Takes for them to be the -1.5 on the puck line, and that's exactly what happened. So I hate it. That's not what I actually wanted, but that's what happened. So it was awesome. This was fantastic. First annual. We'll do it again next year.
Everyone who stuck with us tonight, a 3.5 hour podcast. We worked it tonight, guys. We came through. We did it. I think John from coming down from Chicago, hanging with us. Toast for hosting. Great things. Stick with us. We're gonna have a fun season, man. Hockey is back. Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames, our new home. This is where you can find us every week, 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central, around the ice. We'll be bringing you all our favorite bets, fantasy hockey and real hockey, what we're talking about. And we'll just keep it going, guys. Thank you, everyone who stuck with us tonight, joined us, looked at it. We appreciate it. Hey, may all those bets hit. And the train never quit.
Yeah.
Keep that stuff going here. We appreciate it here. Thank you for joining us on Around the Ice on Fantasy and Frames. We'll check you next time. Peace, guys.
Peace.
Here's the deal.